Chapter 1688. Yes, that's natural. After Jing Er's wedding is over, it will be Tianhu's turn. Our old Zhao family's happy events really come one after another. Isn't that so? This year, our old Zhao family's luck is good. Happy events come one after another. We have received the old ancestor's blessing. Zhao Yun couldn't stand it. She had to bring the old ancestor into the picture again. She had to say that the old ancestor was blessing her. Okay, father, mother, I'm going to collect the gift money. Zhao Yun quickly said. But the few people who came were from the village. They specially sent the gift money after Zhao Yun moved. They knew that Zhao Yun's family must have been busy moving yesterday. Zhao Yun smiled and took the gift money. At the same time, she prepared a book and took a brush to record it. She had to remember how many things the villagers sent. When other people's families had happy events, her family would have to return the gifts. The village was like this. After the people sent the gifts, they took a few glances at Zhao Yun's house. They sighed at Zhao Yun's new house and went back. After Dehua, Erhua and Sen ran to pick wildflowers, they specially came to Zhao Yun's house. They held a large bouquet of flowers and handed it to Zhao Yun. Aunt Yun. Zhao Yun saw the children coming over and smiled. What's wrong? Aunt Yun, these are the wild flowers we picked. We sent some over for you. You can put them in your house. They look good. They're also a little fragrant. Zhao Yun glanced at the wild flowers in the children's hands. There were wild begonia and some unknown wild flowers. They were colorful and really looked good. She stretched her nose and sniffed. There was a faint fragrance. It's so fragrant and beautiful. Thank you. Zhao Yun didn't stand on ceremony and took the flowers from the children. Aunt Yun, you're welcome. The children all had bright smiles on their faces. Zhao Yun couldn't help but smile as well. She felt that the children were a little cute. Aunt Yun, then we will go back first. All right. Zhao Yun replied. She really had to put up the flowers the children had sent her. Zhao Yun just so happened to have some ceramic jars in her house, and they were perfect for flower arrangements. Looking at the flowers in her hand, Zhao Yun planned to put some in her room, some in the living room, and the rest in the attic. In the attic, Zhao Yun had placed 2 tables, one of which was a small round table. When they had nothing to do, they could come up and drink tea. The view from the attic was good, and they could see the bottom of the mountain. What came into their eyes was a crisp color. There was also a rectangular table with a bookshelf behind it. There were some books on it. There were also brushes, ink, paper, and ink stones on the table. These were for Mu Lianfeng and Daodu to read. At this time, Zhao Yun had put up the flowers that the children had picked, adding a touch of bright color to the attic. It was really pleasing to the eye. There was a cool breeze blowing in the attic, and it was very comfortable. Zhao Yun felt that it would be good to get a chaise lounge. When the time came, they could lie in the attic and take a nap in the cool breeze. Just as she finished putting up the flowers, Liang Jinxiao's voice came from downstairs. Yuna. Zhao Yun replied, Mother, what's wrong? That child Lu Lei is here. Hearing Liang Jinxiao mention Lu Lei, Zhao Yun frowned and was a little puzzled. Lu Lei? Why did Lu Lei suddenly come to their house? Chapter 1689. When she went downstairs, she saw Lu Lei standing in front of her house with a silly smile on his face. Brother Lei, why are you here? Zhao Yun asked politely. It's nothing big. Your family just built a new house and is going to hold a banquet. I heard from the other villagers, so I came over to give you a gift. Brother Lei, you're too polite. Of course. We're all from the same village, so we have to celebrate with each other. Okay, Brother Lei. Zhao Yun didn't stand on ceremony. She didn't reject Lu Lei's offer and took the gift money very readily. Lu Lei stared at Zhao Yun's eyes and looked away reluctantly from Zhao Yun's face. He had nothing to say and had to leave, but he couldn't bear to leave. Ever since he married Xiao Hong, his life hadn't been very good. Although Lu Hong treated him well, Xiao Hong was too controlling. Sometimes she would get angry and jealous for no reason, so he was very tired. When he was with a woman, a woman's understanding was very important. He didn't like it when women were jealous and angry for no reason. He also didn't like it when women were suspicious of him for no reason. But now that he was married to Xiaohong, he could only bear with it and make do with his life. Brother Li, do you want to come in and rest for a while and have a glass of water? Zhao Yun saw that Lu Lei had no intention of leaving, but she didn't want to chase him away. Seeing that it was awkward to just stand there, Zhao Yun could only greet him. Before Lu Lei could answer, someone suddenly jumped out and pointed at Zhao Yun and started scolding her. Zhao Yun, you shameless woman. Are you going to seduce someone again? You even asked my man to come to your house to rest and have a glass of water. What are you trying to do? Zhao Yun was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Xiaohong to suddenly appear. Lu Lei didn't seem to expect it either. Why you here? Xiaohong looked at Zhao Yun angrily and then complained to Lu Lei, Husband, I was wondering why you were sneaking around. It turns out that you came to find Zhao Yun. Lu Lei furrowed his brows and asked unhappily, So you followed me? How am I following you? I just want to see what you're doing here. Sure enough, you're doing something behind my back. You actually came to look for Zhao Yun. When Lu Lei heard Xiaohong's words, he felt very tired. He came to look for Zhao Yun in secret because he was afraid that Xiaohong would get suspicious and let her imagination run wild. Previously, he had only helped Zhao Yun get some wild candles, but Xiaohong had misunderstood and made everyone very embarrassed. This time, he simply came over secretly. Xiaohong couldn't see him, so she naturally wouldn't let her imagination run wild. I didn't come here to do anything shameful. What's wrong with coming here? Lu Lei couldn't take it anymore and replied. Xiaohong's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Husband, but you came to look for Zhao Yun, and you said that you didn't come here to do anything shameful. What kind of bewitching potion did she give you? Why are you so obsessed with her? It's broad daylight, and you specially came here to look for her. Chapter 1690. Zhao Yun couldn't help but roll her eyes in her heart. What the hell was she talking about? She didn't ask Lu Lei to stay on purpose. It was just a casual remark, but in Xiaohong's eyes, it sounded like she was doing it on purpose. Enough. Can you stop making wild guesses when you have nothing better to do? Don't let your imagination run wild. What are you talking about? Xiaohong bit her lower lip and stood in front of Lu Lei. She said aggrievedly, Husband, I know you've been bewitched by that vixen, so I don't blame you. It's all Zhao Yun's fault. Zhao Yun felt like she had been implicated for no reason. She didn't covet Xiaohong at all, but Xiaohong didn't believe her and insisted on blaming her. Lu Lei was speechless. He sighed and tugged at Xiaohong's arm. Alright, can you stop making a fuss? I didn't come to Yun's place for anything. I just saw that Yun's family was going to hold a banquet, so I wanted to give Yun some money as a gift. When we got married, you gave it to us. Shouldn't we return the favor? Xiaohong was slightly taken aback when she heard Lu Lei's words. She didn't seem to believe Lu Lei. Husband, is that really the case? What else could it be? Yun's gift money is still in her hand. Xiaohong glanced at it and saw that it was indeed the case. Zhao was holding the gift money in her hand. Husband, if that's the case, why did you sneak over? Just tell me directly and I'll send it over. Xiaohong pursed her lips, still feeling aggrieved. If I told you, wouldn't you let your imagination run wild too? Why don't I not tell you and send it over myself secretly? That way, I won't have to go through so much trouble. When Xiaohong heard Lu Lei's words, she felt that Lu Lei was secretly criticizing her for being insensible. Husband, when have I been such an unreasonable person? Lu Lei continued to sigh. Aren't you now? Aren't you maligning Yun and me? I just can't stand her behavior. You should have left after giving her the gift money. Why did she keep you? Aren't you afraid of being seen by others and spreading rumors? She was just being polite. Why do you think so much of it? Why did he have to judge others by his own standards? Are we husband and wife now? Since I married you and you don't trust me at all, how are we going to live in the future? All right, let's go back now. Stop messing around in front of Yun's house. Lu Lei said angrily. Xiaohong seemed to have realized that she had indeed been a little too rash this time. Even so, she still felt that she should be wary of Zhao Yun. Yes, husband, Xiao Hong responded. Then she walked in front of Lu Lei and hugged him. She looked very intimate with Lu Lei. Zhao Yun knew that Xiao Hong was purposely asserting her sovereignty in front of her. She couldn't be bothered to argue with such a woman. Speaking of which, she was also a pitiful person. A woman who lived in fear every day, afraid that her man would be seduced by another woman. What meaning was there in her life? After waiting for Xiao Hong to leave, Zhao Yun returned to the house. In the afternoon, people from the village came one after another. They were all here to give gifts. However, the gifts from the village weren't much. Basically, they were only a few dozen copper coins. She probably wouldn't earn much from the banquet. Chapter 1691. Yeah, this is indeed a problem. Zhao Wenhua responded from the side, then said, "Why don't we hold our family's banquet a little later? It'll be fine when the weather cools down." Liang Jinqiao shook his head. "That won't do. Who would delay their banquet for a few months?" "That's true. But there'll definitely be a lot of leftover food later. It'll be a waste if we can't finish it. The weather won't be able to preserve it, and it'll go bad." Liang Jinqiao responded, "Yeah, it'll definitely go bad. How can the weather last through the night? But there's no choice. It's like this now. If we hold a banquet, it'll be the same for other people's banquets. Won't it be the same if Tianhu and Jing hold their wedding banquets later?" Zhao Wenhua said, "Yeah, then if all three of our families hold a banquet, it'll be a waste if we can't finish the food. Adding it all up, we'll lose a lot." Sigh, although it's a pity, there's no choice. Who would have thought that we'd arrive at this time? Zhao Yun saw that Liang Jinqiao and Zhao Wenhua were lamenting about wasting food. Zhao Yun thought for a while. Since the banquet was about to be held, the food couldn't be wasted. She should make a simple refrigerator now and put the leftover food in it later. "Dad, Mom, you don't have to worry about this. I have an idea." Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinqiao looked at Zhao Yun curiously. "Yun, you have an idea?" "Yun, what idea do you have?" "Could it be the well water?" "The well water is cool, but it'll have to be changed constantly. We don't have the time for that." Seeing Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinqiao's curious expressions, Zhao Yun couldn't explain it to them. She smiled and said, "Father, Mother, I have my own way. You'll know when I make it." Liang Jinqiao and Zhao Wenhua responded, "All right then. Hi Yun, let's see what magical thing you've made. It's making me curious. I really want to know what it is." "We'll know soon enough," Zhao Yun replied with a smile. Then he asked Zhao Wenhua for some wood. "Father, is there any unwanted wood in our house?" Zhao Wenhua nodded. His family used a lot of wood to build the house. At that time, he also brought back a lot of wood from the mountains. Many of them were not used up and were kept at home. He looked back to see if there was anything he could use. Now that Zhao Yun asked, he took it out. "Yun, why do you want this?" "It's to make something that can preserve vegetables." Zhao Wenshui replied, "It's amazing that you can even use wooden planks." Zhao Yun laughed. It was normal that Zhao Wenhua couldn't figure out the reason. "Father, can you saw this wood into pieces for me?" Zhao Yun looked at the whole piece of wood and was a little troubled. She wasn't a carpenter. It was impossible for her to know everything. She didn't know how to do this kind of thing. Zhao Wenhua smiled and said, "Of course it's a pity. Father will come right away." Zhao Wenhua went to the house and found a saw. He began to gesture at the wood. "Yun, how big do you want it to be?" Zhao Yun gestured at the saw. When Zhao Wenhua heard it, he understood Zhao Yun's intention and began to work according to Zhao Yun's request. Soon, Zhao Wenhua finished sawing the whole piece of wood. "Yun, have you seen enough?" Chapter 1692. It's good that it's enough. If it's not enough, tell me and I'll make more. Zhao Yun responded. Zhao Yun first polished the wooden planks on the ground, then took out nails and hammered the wooden planks together. After spending an hour, he finally made a wooden box. Zhao Yun deliberately added a few more layers around the wooden box, so that the box's airtightness would be better. As for the inside of the box, Zhao Yun made some paste and sealed the box with some sand. This would ensure that the box would not be exposed to the wind. The ice cubes would not melt so quickly when placed inside. The box was neither big nor small and could fit quite a lot of vegetables inside. She made a lid on top of it and covered it directly. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao stared at the side. When they saw that Zhao Yun had only made a box after a long time, they were even more confused. Can the leftovers in this box prevent them from going bad? Liang Jinxiao could not help but ask. Zhao Yun was amused by Liang Jinxiao. Of course not. Mother, don't be anxious. You'll know later. Ha. Liang Jinxiao responded. Ha, okay. Mother will wait. Zhao Yun took the box outside to dry it. The sun was shining brightly on this hot day. After a while, the paste on the box dried. Zhao Yun looked at it and began to take out saltpeter to make some ice cubes. The thick ice cubes were broken and spread in the box. Zhao Yun then covered the box with a lid and found a tattered quilt that she did not want. Father, Mother, this will do. Zhao Yun said with a smile. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua looked at each other. Won't the ice melt easily if it's placed inside? It's such a hot day, and you're still holding onto the quilt. Won't it melt faster? That's right. Yuner girl, you should also store the ice for one night, right? Even if you put the food in there, I don't think it will last long. When the ice melts, the food inside won't be so cold anymore, and the food will go bad again. Yuner, are you sure this will work? Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao spoke one after another, as if they did not believe that the box was so magical. If the ice cubes were placed inside for an entire night, they would definitely melt into water. Mother, you don't know, do you? Covering it with a quilt will not only prevent it from melting, but will also slow it down. How could that be? Liang Jinxiao muttered. This quilt has a thermal insulation function. It's cool inside, and the cold air will be solidified. It's not easy for the hot air outside to get in. Zhao Yun explained. Is that so? Can it really be stored for one night? Zhao Yun nodded. It should be possible. As long as it lasts for one night, we can continue to put in more ice cubes the next day. The food definitely won't go bad if it's placed inside. Then let's try it tonight. Okay. Zhao Yun was very confident in the simple refrigerator she made. She could make a few more of this refrigerator later and send one to Mu Lan's family. They would definitely be able to use it. Seeing the simple refrigerator that was made, Zhao Yun couldn't wait to make some herbal tea and other things to put in it. It was very easy to get heatstroke on such a hot day. It would be good to make some iced mung bean soup. Chapter 1693. Mother, I'm going to cook some mung bean soup. Yes. It's still early. Cook some mung bean soup and put it in ice later. Eat some after dinner. Liang Jinxiao responded. All right, then I'll cook some. Let's see if what you make is useful. Zhao Yun made some mung beans. This thing was not rare in the countryside and was not expensive. It was about the same price as rice. A large pot of mung bean soup probably cost less than 10 copper coins. After washing the mung beans, she put them in the pot to cook. When they were done, she added sugar and left them to cool. When Zhao Yun came out of the kitchen, she saw a figure looking left and right in front of her house. It was none other than Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng looked into the house as if she was looking for someone. Zhao Yun's eyebrows twisted. This woman began to run to her house in a dishonest manner again? What are you doing? Zhao Yun asked. Ma Xiaofeng looked in the direction of Zhao Yun's voice. Sister Yunta. Ma Xiaofeng's face immediately lit up with a smile and called out sweetly to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun did not give Ma Xiaofeng any face. Instead, she asked indifferently, Sister Xiaofeng, why are you here? Ma Xiaofeng moved closer to Zhao Yun and said intimately, Sister Yun, I heard that your family built a new house and is going to hold a banquet, so I wanted to send some money as a gift to celebrate. Everyone in our village came to give it to you. Seeing the flattering smile on Ma Xiaofeng's face, Zhao Yun felt that it was very fake. Unfortunately, This woman herself did not seem to feel it. Zhao Yuner still had an indifferent attitude. There's no need to be so polite. Little sister Xiaofeng's family isn't having an easy time now. It's better to keep the money for your family to spend. It's fine as long as I know what you're thinking. Ma Xiaofeng was slightly stunned. She understood what Zhao Yuner meant. On the surface, Zhao Yuner was polite to her, as if she was considerate of her. In fact, she just didn't want to accept her gift money and didn't want to have anything to do with her family. Sister Yuner, my family isn't that poor right now. We earned some money from setting up a stall with Sister Pinger, and we haven't used it all yet. He was still able to fork out a few dozen copper coins as a gift. Sister Yuner, you don't have to be so polite with me. As Ma Xiaofeng spoke, she stuffed a few dozen copper coins into Zhao Yuner's hands. The corners of Zhao Yuner's mouth curled up into a meaningful smile. Was she trying to curry favor with her? Little sister Xiaofeng, isn't it better to buy something good for your mother to nourish her body? As Zhao Yuner spoke, she stuffed the copper coins back into Ma Xiaofeng's hands. A trace of unwillingness flashed across Ma Xiaofeng's eyes. The corners of her mouth twitched, and her smile looked awkward. Sister Yuner, actually you don't have to be so polite with me. It makes us seem very distant. It's just a few dozen copper coins. My mother's body doesn't lack these few dozen copper coins to nourish her body. Zhao Yuner chuckled and replied, her tone carrying a bit of sarcasm and alienation. Little sister Xiaofeng, when were we familiar with each other? Sister Yuner, with Zhao Yuner directly exposing their relationship, Ma Xiaofeng was very embarrassed. She didn't expect Zhao Yuner to be so rude. She didn't care about her face at all. Chapter 1694. So, little sister Xiaofeng, you don't have to be polite. You should take the money back. Besides, if I accept your gift money for my family's banquet, it would be inconvenient for you and your mother to come over to eat. I still have to accept this favor. I can't return it to you. Ma Xiaofeng looked at the dozens of copper coins in her hand, and she felt very uncomfortable. Zhao Yuner accepted the gifts from others, but she didn't accept hers. This kind of differential treatment made Ma Xiaofeng feel even more uncomfortable in her heart. She didn't do anything wrong to Zhao Yuner before. Ma Xiaofeng really didn't understand why Zhao Yuner had such a big prejudice against her. Little sister Xiaofeng, is there anything else? If there's nothing else, I still have something to do. I won't entertain you. Ma Xiaofeng wanted to say something, but when she saw Zhao Yuner's cold and indifferent face, she suddenly stopped talking. Then sister, you'll forget it. Ma Xiaofeng said with some hypocrisy. Little sister Xiaofeng, take care. Come and play again when you have time. Zhao Yuner smiled and greeted her. Sister. Ma Xiaofeng's mouth pulled out a smile, and she also faked a smile. After leaving Zhao Yuner's house, Ma Xiaofeng's mood was a little lost. She knew in her heart that in old Zhao's family, the highest status was still Zhao Yuner. The third branch had to listen to Zhao Yuner for everything. If Zhao Yuner didn't agree, the other people in the third branch would definitely consider it. Even if she provoked the relationship between Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin, so what if Zhao Tianan changed his mind? If Zhao Yuner didn't agree, would she still stick to Zhao Tianan? Did she want to change someone now? Find someone better than Zhao Tianan? However, she knew everyone in the village. How could it be easy to find someone better than Zhao Tianan? Ma Xiaofeng walked back with some frustration. Suddenly, she saw a man standing not far behind Zhao Yuner's new house. This man was tall and handsome, and his temperament was even more outstanding. This person was none other than Mu Lianfeng. Which woman wouldn't like a man with such good looks and a good family background? Ma Xiaofeng's heart trembled slightly when she saw Mu Lianfeng standing not far away. Wouldn't it be great if she could have some sort of relationship with this kind of proud son of heaven? Unfortunately, Ma Xiaofeng knew her limits. What was her status, and what was Mu Lianfeng's status? The difference between the two of them was too big. It was not easy to gain Mu Lianfeng's favor. Not everyone in the world was as lucky as Zhao Yuner. But on second thought, wasn't Zhao Yuner just an ordinary country girl? Why could Zhao Yuner do it, but she couldn't? Logically speaking, she was younger than Zhao Yuner. Which man didn't like young women and liked older women? Ma Xiaofeng saw that Mu Lianfeng's clothes were caught in the thorns on the ground. She hurriedly ran over to Mu Lianfeng. Lord Heir, don't pull. If you pull with all your strength, I reckon that you'll tear your clothes. Ma Xiaofeng moved closer to Mu Lianfeng and said softly. Mu Lianfeng raised his head and glanced at Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng smiled and explained, Lord Heir, these thorns have barbs. The more you pull, the easier it will tear your clothes. Your clothes are so expensive. Wouldn't it be a waste if they tear? Let me help you. Chapter 1695. After it was done, Ma Xiaofeng got up from the ground and smiled at Mu Lianfeng. Shiziyi, it's done. Fortunately, the clothes aren't ruined. Otherwise, it would be a pity. Mu Lianfeng looked at the clothes that were taken off. Although he was not used to Ma Xiaofeng's sudden enthusiasm, Mu Lianfeng still thanked her. Thank you. Ma Xiaofeng was flattered and waved her hand. Shiziyi, you're too polite. It's just a small matter. Mu Lianfeng nodded politely and smiled. This smile was quite magnificent. Ma Xiaofeng was stunned. The feeling that emerged in her heart was that Mu Lianfeng was really too handsome and good-looking. This kind of man was really a stunner. He was really the best. It was rare to see such a good-looking man. When Mu Lianfeng was about to turn around and leave, Ma Xiaofeng suddenly called out to Mu Lianfeng. Shiziyi, wait a moment. Mu Lianfeng stopped and turned to Ma Xiaofeng. Is there anything else? Ma Xiaofeng opened her mouth and found that she had nothing to say to Mu Lianfeng. She couldn't even start a conversation. If she forced herself to say something, she would only feel awkward. No, nothing. Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but look at Ma Xiaofeng a few more times. He felt that Ma Xiaofeng's behavior was a little strange. She clearly had something to say, but in the end she didn't say it. Since there's nothing else, I'll go back first. But looking at Mu Lianfeng's tall and straight back as he left, Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but sigh. Mu Lianfeng was really a man among men. Why was Zhao Yun so lucky to win Mu Lianfeng's heart? Compared to Zhao Tianan, after seeing Mu Lianfeng, Ma Xiaofeng realized how low her requirements were. Her request for men was limited to the village. Zhao Tianan's conditions were indeed good in the village. With a brother-in-law like Mu Lianfeng to rely on, his life would not be too bad. But at the end of the day, you are still an ordinary person. If she wanted to find someone, she should find someone with money and status, just like Mu Lianfeng. If she could get close to someone rich and powerful, she would be able to lead her mother and younger brother's family of 3 to live a good life. She wouldn't have to worry about her mother and her being scolded and gossiped by the villagers. She also wouldn't have to worry about Ma Xiaoyu being bullied by the children in the same village. Ma Xiaofeng withdrew her hand from Mu Lianfeng's body and went back with a thoughtful look on her face. When Mu Lianfeng returned to Zhao Yun's house, Zhao Yun had already cooked the mung bean soup and put it on the stove to let it cool down. The weather was very hot. When Mu Lianfeng came back from the mountain, his forehead was covered with a thick layer of sweat beads. Mu Lianfeng, do you want to drink some mung bean soup? Zhao Yun brought a bowl of mung bean soup to Mu Lianfeng and asked. But Mu Lianfeng smiled and took it. At this moment he was thirsty. Unexpectedly, Zhao just handed a bowl of mung bean soup to him. Zhao Yun added a few pieces of ice, so the mung bean soup was cold. When he drank it, it was very cool. This mung bean soup was very thirst-quenching and tasted very good. When he drank it, he felt a lot more comfortable. After drinking it, Mu Lianfeng wiped the corners of his mouth and wiped the sweat beads on his forehead. It's as delicious as the sour plum soup. Yun, no one can be better than you when it comes to serving these things. Mu Lianfeng was not stingy with his praise. Chapter 1696. Indeed, Yuna, you did a good job. I'm not the only one who's greedy. Mu Lianfeng said with a smile. When his laughter came, Mu Lianfeng's smile made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. In this hot summer, it made people feel a little cool. Seeing Zhao Yun staring at him, Mu Lianfeng touched his face and said, Yun, why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? Zhao Yuner shook her head. No, I'm looking at you because you're good-looking and have a nice smile. You're such a good-looking person. Don't you want me to look at you? Mu Lianfeng shook his head. Of course not. Since Yuner likes to look at me, you can look at me as much as you want. Ha. After Mu Lianfeng finished a bowl of soup and Zhao Yuner also filled a bowl, the heat of the afternoon dissipated by more than half. Compared to sour plum soup, mung bean soup was better at relieving the heat. Zhao Yuner remembered that when she was young, she followed her grandparents. Every summer during the busy farming season, her grandmother would cook a big pot of mung bean soup for them. Every time she came back and didn't have an appetite, she would drink more mung bean soup. After drinking it, she would feel cool and her appetite would be much better. Zhao Yuner then called Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua to drink some. Although the two of them had eaten mung bean soup before, they had never missed the ice cubes. Compared to Zhao Yuner, they were naturally much worse. The large pot of mung bean soup was not small. Zhao Yuner went to bring some to Mulan. Zhu Eru just came back from working outside. He was bare-chested and stuffed with some black clothes. At this time, Zhu Eru's skin was bronze. At a glance, it was obvious that he often worked in the fields. Men who worked hard in the countryside were all like this. At this time, although Zhu Eru had taken off his clothes, there were still a lot of sweat beads on his body. The sweat kept flowing down his skin, as if he had been drenched in the rain. Probably because it was too hot, Zhu Eru poured cold water into his mouth while fanning himself with a fan. Mulan saw that her husband was so tired, so she said to Zhu Eru, "Honey, wait a minute. I'll go to the room and bring you some cold water. You can wipe your body with some cold water. You'll cool down soon." Zhu Eru replied, "All right." As soon as Mulan came out with a basin of cold water, Zhao Yuner brought the mung bean soup over. Come, I've brought you some delicious food." Zhao Yuner greeted them with a smile. Mulan's children excitedly surrounded Zhao Yuner and asked her, "Aunt Zhao Yun, what delicious food did you bring for me today?" "Aunt Yun, what delicious food did you bring?" Zhao Yuner smiled and pointed to the mung bean soup. "It's this, mung bean soup. Have you tried it before?" The children nodded their heads heavily. They had tried mung bean soup before, but it was not often. It was only a few times. Although mung beans were not expensive, sugar was very expensive. Ordinary people could not afford it. If there was no sugar in the mung bean soup, it would be tasteless. It would not taste good at all. "Come, drink." Zhao Yuner continued to greet them and handed a bowl to each of them. Mulan also handed a bowl to Zhu Eru. Chapter 1697. Yuner, we don't need to give it to the children. It's enough. Zhao Yu knew that Mulan and Zhu Eru were being polite to her again. She glanced at Mulan and said, "Sister-in-law Mulan, it's fine to be polite to others, but why are you being polite to me? Since I'm asking you to drink it, it must be enough." This. Mulan was silent for a while and said with a smile, "Since Yuner said so, Eru and I will drink it." Drink it? It's okay. There's still a lot in the pot at home. Brother Eru just came back from work and is so tired. It's good to drink it to relieve the heat. Zhao Yuner said with a smile. Seeing that Zhao Yuner was so polite and gave everything good to their family, Mulan felt sorry. "Yuner, I'll make it myself later and send some to you too." Zhao Yuner didn't stand on ceremony and agreed with a smile. After giving it to Mulan's family, Liang Jinxiao proposed to send some mung bean soup to the fourth branch. "Little girl Yun, we actually cooked so much mung bean candy in our family's pot. Why don't we give some to your fourth uncle and fourth aunt? The two of them have helped our family a lot of work these days. Especially your fourth uncle. Your father has been busy with our family's fields recently, so he's been taking care of them all by himself. Otherwise, our rice won't grow well this year, and we won't have enough to eat." Zhao Yuner had this plan. "But mother, I'll send some to my fourth uncle and fourth aunt. It's good to let them have a taste." Okay. Why don't mother go? You can rest at home." Zhao Yuner waved her hand. "No need, mother. I'll go. You're pregnant. It's inconvenient for you to move around." Liang Jinxiao smiled. "Okay then. Yuner, you go. Take it slowly." "I know, mother." It's not that far away. What can happen? After saying that, Zhao Yuna went to the kitchen and took out a small jar of mung bean soup. She estimated that there were 4 or 5 bowls, which was enough for the 4th branch to drink. Although it was said to relieve the heat, it was cold after all. One couldn't drink too much of it, or else one would have a stomachache. When they arrived at the courtyard of old Zhao's house, they found that there was a carriage parked in front of old Zhao's house. It was obviously from a rich family. Su Xiaoxiao was curious. What kind of big shot had come to old Zhao's house again? Could it be Zhao Jinger's future husband? When Zhao Yuna walked into old Zhao's courtyard, she realized that it wasn't young Master Zheng who had come, but Zhao Xinhui. After Zhao Xinhui married young Master Meng, she probably lived a good life every day. Zhao Xinhui basically didn't return to her parents' home. Now that she was back, she made such a big fuss about it, as if she was afraid that others wouldn't know that she was now rich. In old Zhao's courtyard, the other branches all came out and chatted with Zhao Xinhui. Hua Chunhua was very happy to hear that Zhao Xinhui was back. A smile appeared on her gloomy face and she looked very excited. Zhao Xinhui was probably the only one who could make Hua Chunhua happy. Everyone else treasured their sons, but Hua Chunhua was the only one who treasured her youngest daughter. Feng Xianxia warmly cozied up to Zhao Xinhui. "Aunt, you're finally back. I've missed you so much. We're usually together all the time, but now that you're married, we can't even see each other for months. You're finally back today." Hearing Feng Xiangxia's words, Zhao Yuna felt the mung bean soup she had just drunk surge up and she almost threw it up. Chapter 1698. Feng Xiangxia's words were not enough. She even pulled Zhao Xinhui's hand affectionately and said, "Little sister, you've changed after living in a rich family. Look at your face and skin. You've also gained some weight. Your complexion is much better than before. You've become much more radiant." Zhao Xinhui seemed to be very pleased with Feng Xiangxia's words. Of course, how can it compare to living in the village? Rich people's lives are much better than those in the countryside. Feng Xiangxia replied eagerly, "Yes, yes. That's why I say that little sister is the luckiest. Everyone in the village is better off than little sister." Hua Chunhua also had a smile on her face. After hearing Feng Xiangxia's words, Hua Chunhua interrupted, "My daughter's good life is preordained by the heavens. She's a person who enjoys happiness." Mother is also lucky to have a daughter like little sister. Although the other branches came out, it was only out of courtesy. They were not really happy that Zhao Xinhui was back. After all, no matter how well Zhao Xinhui married and lived, it had nothing to do with the other branches. She had to rely on herself to live. Zhao Xinhui would not give them charity. So what was the use of flattering Feng Xiangxia? Could it be that he wanted to get some benefits from Zhao Xinhui? Hua Chunhua moved closer to Zhao Xinhui and asked, "By the way, are you going to leave again today?" "I'm not leaving." Zhao Xinhui shook her head. "It's almost night. Why should I leave? Mother, do you have a brain?" Although Zhao Xinhui did not give her any face in public, Hua Chunhua was not angry. Instead, she said happily, "It's good that you're not leaving. It's not easy for to come home. You should stay at home for a few days." Zhao Xinhui replied. That was what she planned to do. In fact, it was not that she wanted to come back. She had no choice but to come back. She was favored by the Meng family and became arrogant. She offended young Master Meng's first wife. Young Master Meng was protective of her, but this first wife was very powerful. Her family background was not bad, and her status in the Meng family was very high. After falling out with the first wife, she directly invited the old master and the old madam to come over to help her. How could old Master Meng and old Madam Meng allow a concubine in the service to bully their first wife? They immediately chased Zhao Xinhui back. Although young Master Meng was reluctant to part with Zhao Xinhui, he dared not to disobey old Lady Meng and old Master Meng. After discussing with Zhao Xinhui, they decided to let Zhao Xinhui stay in her parents' home for a while. When old Master Meng and old Lady Meng calmed down, they would take her back. Zhao Xinhui had no choice but to agree. Zhao Xinhui felt stifled at the thought of going back to her mother's home and not knowing how long she would stay there. She did not want to spend a day in her parents' home. Xianmu said that the food and living here were not even 1,000th of the good ones in the Meng family. There was no servant to serve her and no one to scold her. She was not happy at all. Now she just hoped that young Master Meng would come to take her back earlier. She wanted to stay less in her parents' home and suffer less. I'll clean up the room for you now. I'll cook something delicious for you in the evening. Hey, I'll catch a chicken for you to eat later. Hua Chunhua said and was ready to clean up the room. Chapter 1699. Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Baoshan. Old man, what are you saying? It's not easy for Hui to come back, so I killed a chicken to make something nice for her to eat. What's wrong with that? So what if she's back? Whose family's daughter would be served with such good food? It's as if it's more grand than a festival. Zhao Baoshan snorted, his face full of displeasure. Hua Chunhua put her hands on her hips. I say, old man, how can we do as you say? They are different people, and Hui is Hui. Who asked our Hui to have the ability to marry into a good family. She gave us so many good things, so can't she come back to kill a chicken and treat us well? Fine, whatever you say. Zhao Baoshan couldn't be bothered to continue arguing with Hua Chunhua. Old man, your temper is too much. Don't bother with your father, he just can't get his head around it. Zhao Xinhui was speechless as she looked at her parents. Her father couldn't bear to kill a chicken for her to eat, so she was naturally unhappy. However, even if Hua Chunhua killed a chicken for her to eat, she wouldn't care. After living a good life in the Meng residence, Zhao Xinhui didn't care about chickens anymore. She was even too lazy to eat them. Mother, don't tidy up the room first. Hurry and get me a cup of water. I'm dying of thirst after rushing back. If I don't drink some water on such a hot day, I'll feel uncomfortable. Zhao Xinhui used her sleeve to fan herself, feeling uncomfortable from the heat. At this time, her forehead was covered with a thin layer of sweat. She felt that old Zhao's residence was hotter than the Meng residence. There was a courtyard in the Meng residence that was specially used to avoid the heat, so people wouldn't feel too stuffy sitting there to rest. Zhao Xinhui felt that she couldn't stand being cooped up in the carriage after rushing back. Hua Chunhua chuckled in response. Okay, mother will get you some water first. With that, Hua Chunhua went back into the room, brought out a cup of water, and handed it to Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Xinhui gulped down a few mouthfuls. Although she wasn't so thirsty, the heat still didn't dissipate. Mother, our house is so hot, how can we sleep at night? Zhao Xinhui complained. Hua Chunhua smiled and comforted her. It's okay, it's hot during the day, but it's not so hot at night. I'll make you a mat for you to sleep on it. It's still hot. Zhao Xinhui muttered. Zhao, I don't know how you've been living before. For so many years, you've been in the summer at home all these years, for so many years, Zhao. You use to it, you. Go back and enjoy life. Father. Zhao Xinhui felt embarrassed when she heard Zhao Baoshan's scolding. Hua Chunhua quickly defended her. Old man, what are you saying? Came back after so much difficulty, and you want her to leave? What kind of father are you? How can you treat your own daughter like this? Zhao Baoshan's nostrils were steaming. I'm just speaking the truth. Look at her. She doesn't even know her own status. She can be the master in the Meng residence and be picky. Now that she's back in her maiden home, what's the meaning of her being picky? Is she giving us a hard time? We're already so old and we still have to serve her? Unfilial thing, we raised her for nothing. Chapter 1700. Zhao Yun, who was watching from the side, suddenly felt refreshed when she heard Zhao Baoshan's words. It was rare for old Zhao's family to have a sensible person. Seeing Zhao Xinhui's pretentious appearance, Zhao Yun felt uncomfortable. However, Zhao Yun couldn't be bothered to care about things that had nothing to do with her. If it weren't for the fact that they couldn't go back to the Meng residence now, Zhao Xinhui would have definitely turned around and left immediately after hearing what Zhao Baoshan said. Huo Chuanhua's mouth twitched and she said to Zhao Baoshan, Huiyer's father, Hui rarely comes back to her parents' home. Look at the things you say and do that make Huier sad. If Huier really leaves, will you be so happy? She's your biological daughter, right? After hearing what Huo Chuanhua said, Zhao Baoshan sighed and didn't continue speaking. Indeed, it wasn't easy for his daughter to come back. Although he had many prejudices, he couldn't force Zhao Xinhui, who had finally come back, to leave. After Zhao Baoshan stopped speaking, old Zhao's family fell into silence, and the atmosphere was very awkward. The other members of old Zhao's family didn't know what to say, afraid that they would be reprimanded by Zhao Baoshan if they said too much. Zhao Yun couldn't keep dawdling, so she greeted Zhao Wentao and Qian Hongzhao, fourth uncle, fourth aunt. Yun, why are you looking for us? Zhao Wentao thought that Zhao Yun's family needed help, so he asked with concern. Zhao Yun shook her head. Nothing, I just came to give you something. Give us something? What did you give us? Zhao Wentao asked curiously. A little something to eat. Zhao Yun smiled and handed over the jar. Zhao Wentao opened it and said to Zhao Yun with some surprise, Oh Yun, this is mung bean soup. Yes, it's mung bean soup. It's good for relieving the heat, so I brought some for fourth uncle and fourth aunt to try. Zhao Wentao laughed heartily and didn't decline pretentiously. Okay, fourth uncle will accept it. But you can try it. Okay. Zhao Wentao responded. When the other families heard Zhao Yun and Zhao Wentao's words, they felt uncomfortable. Feng Xianxia and Qian Hongzheng and she said, Yunqi, why didn't you bring some mung bean soup to us? Zhao Wenshui echoed from behind. That's right, your fourth uncle and fourth aunt are your elders. Aren't we also your uncles? Why can't we give you some? Yun, that's not good. We are all relatives. How can you give mung beans soup to your fourth uncle and fourth aunt, but not to us? Do you still treat us as your elders? Go back and quickly bring some over so we can try it too. Zhao Wenshi said. These people were very thick-skinned and didn't feel that there was anything wrong with what they said. Zhao Yue only found it funny and asked coldly, Eldest uncle, eldest aunt, second uncle, you are really joking. I sent mung bean soup to fourth uncle and fourth aunt because my father has been busy building the house, and fourth uncle has been helping with all the work in our family's fields. Now that I have something to give to fourth uncle and fourth aunt, it's only right. If you help my family with the work in the fields, then I will send some to you too. After Zhao Yun finished speaking, the few of them stopped talking. Chapter 1701. Yun, it's not right for you to say that. We're all relatives and your elders. What's wrong with giving us some food? Do we have to work for your family in exchange? Zhao Wenshui muttered. He was too lazy to help Zhao Yun's family work, but he wanted to drink some mung bean soup, so he said that. Feng Xianxia followed Zhao Wenshui and replied, That's right. Little girl Yun, why are you still being so calculative? We don't have to drink much, just give us less. Zhao Yun sneered. How thick-skinned must they be to say such words? She had already made it so clear, but these people were still chasing after her. Second uncle and eldest aunt really know how to joke. Even blood-related brothers settle accounts clearly. Why should I, a married woman, be filial to you? So what if you're my elders? Zhao Yun's reply made Zhao Wenshui and Feng Xianxia choke. What she said was reasonable. A married daughter was like spilled water. She didn't even need to care about her parents, so how could she be filial to other elders? There's no free lunch in this world. I'll only give them food if they help me. There's no free lunch. If second uncle and eldest aunt encounter a free lunch next time, remember to call me. I'll join in the fun and take advantage of it. Zhao Wenshui and Feng Xianxia's expressions were a little ugly. They knew that Zhao Yun wasn't easy to deal with. If they wanted the mung bean soup, not only would they not get it, but they would also be humiliated by Zhao Yun. Seeing that these people had stopped making trouble, Zhao Yun withdrew the coldness in her eyes. She turned to Zhao Wentao and Qian Hongzhao and said, Fourth uncle, fourth aunt, hurry up and drink it. This thing is cold now and relieves the heat. It won't be cold for a long time, and the taste will be a little worse. Zhao Wentao and Qian Hongzhao nodded with a smile. Okay, we'll drink it right away. As she spoke, Qian Zhaozhao went into the house and took out a few bowls. She poured some for the children at home first. Then, the couple picked up the bowls and drank the remaining mung bean soup. The mung bean soup was sweet. After adding ice cubes, it was a little cold. It tasted very good in the mouth. Good. Zhao Wentao gulped a few mouthfuls of mung bean soup into his stomach. After drinking it, he felt a lot more refreshed, and the heat in his body had mostly subsided. He suddenly felt very comfortable. Yuner girl, the food you gave me is really good. Apart from being delicious, it can quench my thirst and relieve the heat. Now, I feel that my stomach is very cool. It's better to drink this on a hot day than anything else. Qian Zhaozhua wiped the corner of her mouth. After drinking the mung bean soup, she smiled and said, yes. On such a hot day, people's appetites were not good. Drinking this would make them feel much better. It was even better than eating fish and meat. I feel like most of the heat in my body has been taken away. Drinking water is not so effective. Zhao Yuner chuckled. Fourth uncle, fourth aunt, it's good that you like it. This thing isn't worth much, but it's suitable for drinking in this weather. Yes. Zhao Xinhui's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. She was feeling unbearably hot and had no appetite. Was Zhao Yuner's mung bean soup really that effective? If she drank it, she wouldn't be as hot as she was now, right? Zhao Xinhui thought for a moment, then asked Yuner girl, do you still have mung bean soup at home? Chapter 1702. What's the matter, younger aunt? Zhao Yuner raised her eyebrows and asked. Zhao Xinhui raised her chin. Don't misunderstand. I'm not like second brother and eldest sister-in-law who ask you for free. Go back and make some mung bean soup for me. I'll pay you. Zhao Xinhui thought that Zhao Yuner would definitely sell the soup as long as she paid. Zhao Yuner directly refused. Younger aunt, I'm sorry. My mung bean soup is for myself. It's not for sale. Zhao Xinhui's face suddenly darkened. She said to Zhao Yuner in displeasure, you can give it to fourth brother and fourth sister-in-law for free. Why can't you sell it to me? It's not like I'm asking you for free. Zhao Yuner disliked Zhao Xinhui's current attitude the most. Did she think that she could have whatever she wanted just because she had some money in her hands? Being with young Master Meng, she was covered in the stench of money. It was very disgusting. Younger aunt, if I'm not selling, then I'm not selling. Don't tell me you want to force me to sell it? Zhao Yuner asked with a sneer. Zhao Xinhui glared at Zhao Yuner angrily. This wretched girl deliberately made her feel uncomfortable. Hua Chuanhua's sharp ears overheard the conversation between Zhao Xinhui and Zhao Yuner. She rushed out of the room angrily, walked to Zhao Yuner, and scolded Zhao Yuner. I say, Yuner girl, why are you so stingy? Can't you just sell some mung bean soup to your younger aunt? What's wrong? Is it my fault that you don't want to sell my things? Zhao Yuner asked jokingly. You did it on purpose. Hua Chuanhua glared at Zhao Yuner angrily. I did it on purpose. What's wrong with that? You wretched girl. Hua Chuanhua stomped her feet angrily. Zhao Yuner didn't take Hua Chuanhua seriously at all. Her voice was neither cold nor indifferent. Younger aunt, I'm not that short of money, so I don't want to make money by selling these things. Next time, don't say that you want to buy things with money in front of me. If I'm willing to give it to you, I'll give it to you even if you don't want it. If you don't want it, then you won't get it even if you spend money. Zhao Xinhui's resentful gaze fell on Zhao Yuner. This be fourth uncle, fourth aunt, then I'll go back first. Zhao Yuner greeted them with a smile, and then left the courtyard of old Zhao's house. Hua Chuanhua looked at Zhao Yuner's back and scolded, this wretched girl. She's getting more and more outrageous. She doesn't know the rules at all. She'll say that old Zhao's daughter has no manners. Feng Xianxia pursed her lips and said in a sour tone, that's right. It's fine if she doesn't let us drink it. Younger aunt doesn't want to sell it even if we spend money. The third branch is living a good life now. They have good food and drink, and they don't care about money. We can't compare to them. No matter how good the third branch is living, it's their business. It has nothing to do with us. We shouldn't have separated from the family in the first place. Hu Chunhua felt a burst of regret. If the third branch was part of the family, they would have to share it with them now. Everyone would be able to live a good life. Zhao Baoshan's cold words drifted into Hu Chunhua's ears. Now you're saying that. If we hadn't separated from the family, would you have eaten shit? Speaking of eating shit, Hu Chunhua's face suddenly changed. This matter was a shadow for her. Thinking of it made her feel unusually uncomfortable. Chapter 1703. After being rebuked by Zhao Baoshan, Hu Chunhua was suddenly at a loss for words. Old man, Zhao Baoshan took a puff of his pipe and slowly mocked. That's why I said, let's not talk about the future. She's living a good life now, and you're regretting it. If she's not living a good life, you'll be glad that you didn't drag her down. Am I right? Hu Chunhua couldn't argue with Zhao Baoshan. She turned around and went back to Zhao Xinhui's house to continue tidying up. In the next 2 days, the villagers sent gifts one after another. Zhao Yun were also prepared to hold a banquet. It wasn't easy to hold a banquet. She had to go to the town to do some shopping. However, Tao was very anxious these days. She was always worried about Tian Tian's situation. Tian Tian was still in the tiger's den. She didn't know if Tian Tian was okay. This tiger was an animal after all. It couldn't take care of Tian Tian like a human. That child was still so young. She didn't know if there would be any problems. After the banquet, she had to discuss with Mu Lianfeng before going up the mountain to take a look. It would be best if she could find an opportunity to bring Tian Tian back. Speaking of which, this child's life was a little hard. She was born prematurely and was abandoned by her parents. It wasn't easy for her to get better, but she was taken away by a white tiger. Zhao Yun couldn't help but worry. She didn't know if Tian Tian's life would be bumpy. The well at home began to be officially built. After a while, they would be able to use the well water. It would save them the trouble of fetching water from the river. Zhao Yun didn't neglect the renovation of the courtyard. After the fence was completed, Zhao Yun and Mu Lan went up the mountain together. They found some wildflowers and dug them back to plant in the courtyard. It would be best if she planted some fruit trees, such as grape trees, pomegranate trees, and orange trees. When the fruits ripened, she could pick them to eat. The day before the banquet, Zhao Yun ran to Yang City to start shopping. Zhao bought some meat, chicken, duck, and fish. She mainly spent money on the meat dishes. She bought a lot of vegetables but didn't spend much money. The country people like to eat meat the most when drinking wine, so they usually ate vegetarian food at home. When Zhao Yun arrived in Yang City, she found that Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng had already started setting up a stall. Both of their injuries. And they could start setting up a stall to earn more money. When did you start setting? Zhao. Sister, Zhao. She said, when did you start? Zhao, sister? Sister. When? Sister. Send. If I hadn't come to Yang City to buy things, I wouldn't have known that you had already set up a stall. How much money did you take from me? Zhao Ping's expression was a little ugly. You. What nonsense are you talking about? Who took your money? Zhao Ying curled her lips and sneered. Is that so? You set up a stall so sneakily. You didn't share the money you earned with me. How dare you say that you didn't take my money? Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly explained to Zhao Yun. Sister Yun, you misunderstood. How could we take your money? We just set up the stall today. Naturally, we'll share the money with you when we earn. Zhao Yun turned to Ma Xiaofeng and raised her eyebrows. Is that so? Ma Xiaofeng smiled embarrassedly. Of course. Sister Yun, how could we lie to you? Sister Ping, don't you think so? Chapter 1704. How could Zhao Yun believe their nonsense? They just wanted to give her less money, thinking that she didn't know that they were secretly setting up a stall. These two people were dishonest, so she didn't need to continue working with them. Elder sister Ping, younger sister Xiaofeng, I'll know whether or not you've just set up a stall today, so you can't fool me. But since you're dishonest, I don't think I need to continue working with you. When Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng ran out of the mushroom powder in their hands, she wouldn't provide any more. Naturally, their business wouldn't be able to continue. When Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng heard Zhao Yun's words, their expressions changed, and they said anxiously, Zhao Yun, how can you do this? Seeing Zhao Ping's anxious look, Zhao Yun replied indifferently, Sister Ping, you didn't abide by the agreement first. How can you say that it's my fault? When did I say I wouldn't give you a share? The reason why I didn't give you the money for these few days was that I deliberately kept it for my medical expenses. Your family's little black bit me, so you have to compensate me, right? Zhao Yun laughed coldly, you reap what you sow. You provoked my family's little black first. Anyway, you have to compensate me for my medical expenses. I'm just keeping it. When Zhao Yun saw Zhao Ping's tyrannical look, she said, all right then. Sister Ping, you can forget about the money you deducted, but our cooperation ends here. When Ma Xiaofeng heard this, she became anxious and scolded Zhao Ping in her heart for being so stupid. How much money was deducted? If Zhao Yun ended their cooperation, they wouldn't be able to earn much money in the future, and their losses would be more than that. Sister Yun, don't be agitated. Our cooperation still needs to be done. Sister Ping was a little impulsive. This is her fault. She shouldn't have deducted your money. Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly said to Zhao Yun. Zhao was a little unconvinced. Xiaofeng, why are you helping Zhao Yun? It's her fault to begin with. I didn't deduct her money for no reason. Is there a need to bully her like this? Ma Xiaofeng rolled her eyes at Zhao Pinger in her heart. This woman was simply hopelessly stupid. At this time, she still said such words. If Zhao Pinger really terminated the cooperation with them, she would cry. Sister Ping, these are two different things. You should give this money to Sister Yun. About the medical fees, you can discuss it again. You can't just deduct it like this. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and said unhappily, discuss it with her? Discuss my ass. Why would an unreasonable person pay for my medical bills? I don't want to suffer this loss for nothing. If it weren't for Zhao Yun, Ma Xiaofeng really wanted to crack open Zhao Ping's head to see if Zhao Ping's brain was filled with shit. Did some words have to be said clearly for Zhao Ping to understand? Zhao Yun's eyes turned cold. Zhao Ping's days were still too carefree. Since that's the case, then the money I got from setting up the stall these few days will be used as Sister Ping's medical fees. In the future, no matter how much money Sister Ping earns, it has nothing to do with me. There's no need for our cooperation to continue. I won't cooperate with people who aren't honest, and I don't want to waste time arguing. Zhao Yun said and turned to leave. Ma Xiaofeng rushed in front of Zhao Yun and blocked Zhao Yun's way. Chapter 1705. Discuss? There's no need for that. Doing business is all about honesty. Since you're not sincere, I don't need to continue working with you. In the future, we'll go our separate ways. I wish you a prosperous business and make a lot of money. Zhao Yun sneered. Ma Xiaofeng frowned and pulled Zhao Ping's sleeve. She said to Zhao Ping, Sister Ping, hurry up and apologize. What are you doing here? We're in the wrong. Apologize to Sister Yun. Ma Xiaofeng thought that Zhao Yun would be angry, so she terminated the cooperation. If Zhao Yun's anger subsided after the apology, everything would be fine. Zhao Ping pursed her lips and looked reluctant. She thought that without Zhao Yun, the business couldn't continue. For the sake of money, she could only suffer. Zhao Yun, it's my fault. I'll apologize to you, okay? Zhao Ping didn't have a trace of apology in her tone when she apologized. Instead, she felt that her apology was letting Zhao Yun off easy. Zhao Yun's mouth raised a playful smile. Sister Ping said it's okay, so it's okay? Am I so easy to talk to? Zhao Ping'er glared at Zhao Yun angrily and rolled up her sleeves. Zhao Yun, what do you mean? I'm already like this and you still can't do it? What do you want? Zhao Yun replied faintly, I don't want anything. I just don't want to continue working with you. There's nothing to do with it. After that, Zhao Yun broke free from Ma Xiaofeng's grip on her hand and left arrogantly. Seeing that Zhao Yun didn't want to work with them anymore, Ma Xiaofeng's heart suddenly sank. Without Zhao Yun's secret recipe, her breakfast stall couldn't make any money at all. How would she have the money to support her family? Ma Xiaofeng put all the blame on Zhao Ping. If it weren't for Zhao Ping, this situation wouldn't have happened. It was useless to scold Zhao Ping'er now. Ma Xiaofeng let out a heavy sigh. She had to think of another way. That's too much. Zhao Ping'er shouted angrily and complained to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, look at her. Isn't she reasonable? You're using this to threaten me. I've already apologized, what else do you want me to do? Ma Xiaofeng ignored Zhao Ping'er because she wasn't in the mood. Zhao Ping'er glanced at Ma Xiaofeng. Seeing that Ma Xiaofeng's face was a little ugly, she quickly asked, Xiaofeng, what's wrong? Ma Xiaofeng took a deep breath and said lightly, Sister Ping, you should think about what we're going to do in the future. How are we going to continue with this business? Why did you have to offend Sister Yun? This. Zhao Ping'er bit her lower lip. Xiaofeng, Sister Ping, you know that without Sister Yun's secret recipe, our breakfast won't taste good. The business will definitely be bad later. We won't be able to make much money at all after a day of hard work. Then what should we do? Ma Xiaofeng said unhappily, Sister Ping, you're the one who made this mess. Shouldn't you think of a solution? Why are you asking me? Zhao Ping was suddenly speechless. She was just arguing with Zhao Yun in a moment of anger. She didn't expect that it would lead to such a situation. The breakfast stall's business must be done. Otherwise, where would she get money? Without money, she didn't know what the family Qin people would say about her. By then, she wouldn't have a good life at her in-laws' house. Chapter 1706. If you don't beg, you won't have a chance. Ma Xiaofeng replied unhappily, Sister Ping, you have to be more sincere about this matter. Talk to Sister Yun properly and apologize properly. Maybe Sister Yun will change her mind. No matter what, you are her biological sister. I believe that Sister Yun won't be so ruthless. Zhao Ping'er couldn't stand the thought of having to put aside her pride to beg Zhao Yun. She really couldn't accept Zhao Yun's arrogance in front of her. Xiao Feng, don't you have any other ideas? Ma Xiaofeng chuckled. If it weren't for her feelings, she would have mocked Zhao Ping'er. Sister Ping, then tell me, what other ideas do you have now? If you can come up with an idea, naturally, you don't have to beg Sister Yun. This. Zhao Ping'er bit her lower lip. How could she come up with an idea with her brain? Then, I'll talk to her later. By the way, Sister Ping'er, your family is going to hold a banquet. Send some money as a gift. Maybe it will be easier to talk to her. Ma Xiaofeng reminded her. She was more anxious than Zhao Ping'er. After all, she was more in need of money than Zhao Ping'er. Now that her family depended on her to support them, she had to plan carefully. After Zhao Yun left, she and Mulan continued to shop at the market. This time, Mulan bought some mung bean barley. She wanted to learn from Zhao Yun and make some desserts for her family. After the two of them bought the desserts, they rushed back with Xiao Mao. When Zhao Yun arrived home, Liang Jinxiao's relatives from her maternal family had all come over. Her sisters-in-law, her own uncle, aunt, and grandmother had formed a group. If it wasn't for the fact that the hall was big, it probably wouldn't be able to fit them all. A group of people looked left and right at Zhao Yun's house, sighing at the luxury of Zhao Yun's house. After all, such a house was too rare in the countryside. Many people had never seen it before. Zhao Yun's second aunt couldn't help but sigh. Mother, big sister's house is really good. There are so many things. How spacious is it? How comfortable is it to live? Wu Zhenju's eyes sparkled as she spoke. Her eyes were filled with envy. First Aunt Xianxia chimed in, That's right. Such a house is so grand. No one in our village can live in such a big house. Eldest sister is so lucky. How enviable. When Granny Liang heard this, she chuckled and replied, "This is a good thing. We should all be happy." Wuxia smiled and agreed, "Mother, you're right. We should all be happy that eldest sister's family is doing well." That's right. After all, we're family. I'm happy to see Xiao are living well. Granny Liang had a bright smile on her face. It was obvious that she was happy for Zhao Yun'er's family from the bottom of her heart. Liang Jinxiao was her biological daughter. As a mother, which mother didn't want their children to live well? Mother, eldest brother, eldest sister-in-law, second brother, second sister-in-law, have some mung bean soup to quench your thirst. Liang Jinxiao brought out a jar of mung bean soup. It was left over from yesterday. Zhao Yuna had kept it in a simple self-made refrigerator. It was still cold, so it was just right to serve it to her family. Oh, there's still mung bean soup? Wu Zhenju's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he immediately went to the table. Liang Jinxiao smiled and replied, "Yes, there's still some left. Yuna made it." Chapter 1707. Yun went to Yang City to buy some things. Isn't the banquet tomorrow? Let's buy the groceries and store them today so that it'll be easier for us to hold the banquet tomorrow. Liang Jinxiao nodded. I see. We have to buy some groceries back. This is a joyous occasion. We have to hold the banquet well. Liang Jinxiao nodded in agreement. Yes. Although it's a little troublesome, we still have to hold the banquet. Not many people can afford to live in a house as big as eldest sister's. In our countryside, only landowners can afford such a big brick house. Wuxia said enviously. Eldest sister, you're so lucky to live in such a good house. Your living room is spacious and it feels cool now. It's much cooler than our thatched hut. This is all thanks to Yun'er's money. Yun'er's father and I didn't do anything. If we're talking about luck, it's mainly because we're blessed to have Yun. Liang Jinxiao said with a smile that revealed a sense of pride. Wu Zhenju felt a little uncomfortable. She had originally mocked Zhao Yun. Now that Zhao Yun'er's family was doing so well, it was a slap to her face. Unfortunately, she couldn't take back the words she had said. Eldest sister, hurry up and give mother a bowl to drink. Wu Zhenju urged. She was a little impatient when she saw Liang Jinxiao holding the mung bean soup and chatting with it without drinking. She was too embarrassed to say that she wanted to drink it, so she could only say that she would give old Madame Liang a bowl. Liang Jinxiao finally reacted and nodded. Yes, you must be tired and thirsty after such a long journey. Come and drink some. As he spoke, Liang Jinxiao placed a few bowls on the table and poured the mung bean soup into them. He handed a bowl to old Madame Liang first. Old Madame Liang took it with a smile. You guys drink too? Yes, mother. Without Liang Jinxiao's order, Wu Zhenju eagerly picked up a bowl of mung bean soup from the table and poured it into his stomach. She knew that there was not much mung bean soup left. If she finished it first, she could ask Liang Jinxiao to pour more for her. Wow, it's cool and sweet. It's so delicious. It quenches my thirst. After drinking a bowl of it, I feel much more energetic and less hot. Wu Zhenju sighed. After the two men finished drinking, they said, this mung bean soup is similar to Yun'er's sour plum soup. They're both thirst-quenching. While speaking, the two men wiped the sweat beads on their foreheads. They felt very comfortable. Their whole body was sweating, and they felt a lot better. Ever since they finished their work, they didn't stay in the third branch. When they went back, the food they ate wasn't as good as the food in the third branch. Both of them missed the days when they worked. Sister, do you have any more? I'm done. Can you pour me another bowl? After Wu Zhenju gulped down a few mouthfuls of the mung bean soup, he held the bowl in front of Liang Jinxiao. It seemed like he was asking for permission, but he was actually ordering Liang Jinxiao. How could Liang Jinxiao not give Wu Zhenju more? Second sister-in-law, there's more. Liang Jinxiao smiled and poured another bowl for Wu Zhenju. However, there wasn't much mung bean soup left in the jar. Today, there were more than 10 people from her maternal family who came, and each person had a bowl of more than 10 bowls. Chapter 1708. Liang Jinxiao shook her head and said, "No, it was Yun who used ice cubes." Wu Zhenju was slightly stunned. What? She used ice cubes? Where did she get ice cubes on such a hot day? Liang Jinxiao hesitated and did not know how to explain. She didn't know how to use the ice cubes. She didn't know what Zhao Yun put in the basin, but she made a pile of ice cubes. I don't know either. Yun has a lot of ideas. She came up with it. I see. Wu Zhenju did not dwell on this matter and continued to drink the mung bean soup in his hand. The mung bean soup tasted excellent and quenched thirst. It was really a good thing. The adults liked it, and the children liked it even more. The few children who were brought over held the bowls and drank it. Liang Xinyue copied Wu Zhenju and quickly drank a bowl of mung bean soup. Then she took the bowl and asked Liang Jinxiao for more. Liang Jinxiao saw that Liang Xinyue was actually here. She did not notice it earlier, but now she noticed it. She asked Wu Zhenju in confusion, "Second sister-in-law, what's going on? Shouldn't Xinyue be married by now? How did she have time to come here? A married woman should be staying at her in-laws' house. Liang Xinyue should not be attending her in-laws' activities." Wu Zhenju's face suddenly fell when he heard this. Wuxia could not help but snicker. However, she suppressed her emotions and explained to Liang Jinxiao, "Eldest sister, don't you know?" "Know what?" "Sigh, Xinyue's in-laws broke off their engagement, so she did not get married." "What?" Liang Jinxiao was slightly stunned. She did not expect this to happen. In the countryside, the chances of being rejected by the in-laws were very small. Her eldest niece was quite pretty, so there shouldn't be any reason for her to be rejected. Wu Zhenju's resentful gaze fell on Wuxia. She felt that Wuxia was gloating at her daughter's misfortune and couldn't wait for her daughter to end up like this. Wuxia didn't care about Wu Zhenju's gaze and continued, "There's nothing we can do about it. If we want to blame someone, we can only blame Xinyue for not having a good reputation. That family suddenly changed their mind and wanted to marry someone else's daughter. It was said that his daughter had married into a lower class, and her dowry was worth several hundred taels of silver. Our Liang family is just an ordinary family. What can we use to compare with them? Since other families' daughters are worth more, they definitely won't want our Liang family's daughter." After Wuxia's explanation, Liang Jinxiao finally understood what was going on. She thought of her second sister-in-law's smug and proud look. She did not expect that the engagement would be rejected. It was really a slap in the face. No wonder Wu Zhenju looked so embarrassed now. Some things could not be flaunted too much. No one could predict the outcome. The more you flaunted, the more people would laugh at you. Nowadays, both the bride and groom are interested in family background. We can't blame them. However, it's not very kind of them to do this after the engagement. Liang Jinxiao lamented. "There's nothing we can do about it. They are rich and powerful. We don't dare to find trouble with them even if the engagement is rejected," Wuxia said, hiding the smile on her face. Because of this matter, she had taken pleasure in his misfortune. Chapter 1709. Sometimes, one shouldn't be too cocky in life. The faster one was cocky, the faster one would die. Liang Jinxiao sighed. That's true. Even if we want to cause trouble, we have to have the confidence to do so. They're all ordinary people. It's not worth it if we cause trouble and implicate ourselves. Wuxia chuckled and said, "Isn't that so? We can only suffer in silence. I heard that the bride's family is not only rich, but they also have relatives who are officials. How would we dare to provoke an official's family?" Liang Jinxiao nodded. "That's true. If they're unhappy, they'll say that we're causing trouble for no reason and that we'll suffer when we get caught in jail." "Eldest sister, you're right. That's why we didn't go to them to talk about this." Wuxia hid her smile and secretly glanced at Wu Zhenju. When she saw Wu Zhenju's dark face, she felt even happier. Wu Zhenju pursed his lips and muttered, "My Xinyue is good-looking. If they don't know what's good for them and don't want her, they'll definitely find a better one. Xianxia couldn't help but tease him. Second sister-in-law, it's not easy to find a good man these days. Moreover, Xianxua's marriage was annulled. Most people would feel uncomfortable. I think it's good enough for her to find a passable man in the village to marry. She can't choose a man with good conditions. If she can't find one, it'll drag Xianxua's age down. When she marries in the future, I'm afraid she can only find a man with worse conditions. He's either poor or old and can't find a wife. Wu Zhenju knew that Xianxia said this on purpose and vented his anger. Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Since my Xianxua can find one once, she can find one a second time. It's fine as long as he's good-looking. Wu Zhenju retorted. His words implied that Xianxia's daughter, Liang Shizi, was not as beautiful as her daughter. Xianxia sneered. All right, second sister-in-law, you can say whatever you want. When the time comes, I'll see what kind of good husband Xianxua can find. When Liang Jinxiao saw that the two sisters-in-law were at daggers drawn, he hurriedly said, Second sister-in-law, in fact, it doesn't matter who the child marries. The main thing is that the person she marries is honest, down-to-earth, kind-hearted, and treats Xianxua well. Liang Jinxiao felt that this was the kind of son-in-law he should find. Sometimes, it would be useless to pursue a man if he did not have a good character. Wu Zhenju didn't take it to heart. Which man in the countryside isn't down to earth? If the family doesn't have money, don't tell me my Xianxua will have to marry over and live a hard life? Most importantly, she still hoped that her daughter would marry into a good family so that she could enjoy a good life together with her. Liang Jinxiao was speechless for a moment. Her second sister-in-law felt that way and she couldn't change her mind. Anyway, she felt that a man's character was more important than money. Xianxia rolled her eyes and sneered at Wu Zhenju in her heart. Did he really think that rich people were as easy to pick up as cabbages on the street? Although Liang Xianxua was beautiful, her engagement had been broken off and she was not as good as her Liang Shizi. It was good enough that she found an ordinary family to marry. She was still thinking about a rich family. It was simply a fool's dream. Chapter 1710. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. I feel annoyed talking about it. Old Madame Liang said with some displeasure. Today, he came to his eldest daughter's house because his eldest daughter's family had built a new house. He was very happy. After listening to Xianxia and Wu Zhenju's words and thinking about Liang Xianxua's marriage, old Madame Liang suddenly felt unhappy. Okay, mother. Xianxia responded with a smile and pursed his lips proudly. Wu Zhenju continued to put on a sullen face and replied to old Madame Liang embarrassedly, Mother, it was sister-in-law who brought it up. I didn't say anything. Second sister-in-law, look at what you're saying. If eldest sister asks, shouldn't you tell her? We're all family. It's okay to talk about this. I think you're deliberately saying it for me to hear. Wu Zhenju snorted coldly. He couldn't stand Xianxia's style of doing things. Second sister-in-law, how can you accuse me wrongly? You're making me sound like someone else. You know very well what you mean. Second sister-in-law. Seeing that the two of them were about to quarrel again, old Madame Liang slammed the table and angrily rebuked, Are the two of you done talking? Didn't you hear what I said? All of you shut up. Xianxia and Wu Zhenju were more or less afraid of mothers-in-law. In ancient times, mothers-in-law were more powerful than daughters-in-law. No matter how presumptuous they were, they didn't dare to go too far in front of their mothers-in-law. After old Madame Liang vented her anger, Xianxia and Wu Zhenju immediately stopped quarreling. Zhao Yun's house fell into silence. The children gulped down the mung bean soup. Children loved sweets and were very greedy. After finishing the mung bean soup, each of them held a bowl in front of Liang Jinxiao and said to Liang Jinxiao, Eldest aunt, we want more. Liang Jinxiao glanced at the mung bean soup in the jar. There wasn't much left. Probably none of the children would be able to get a bowl. At this moment, Daoist ran over. The two kids who had just returned from playing with Zhao Tianfu had a thin layer of sweat on their foreheads. Seeing that everyone in the room was drinking mung bean soup, Daoist tugged at Liang Jinxiao's clothes and said, Grandma, Daodu also wants to drink mung bean soup. So thirsty. Liang Jinxiao looked at the small amount of mung bean soup left in the bowl and felt a little troubled. If he let Daodu and Zhao Tianfu drink it, his nephews would be gone. Liang Jinxiao was afraid that Gucaixia and Wu Zhenju would scold her, so she asked for their opinion. There's not much mung bean soup left. Sister-in-law, second sister-in-law, why don't we give it to Daodu? Gucaixia was a sensible person. She pulled her son aside and discussed with him. Dakue, let's give the mung bean soup to Daodu. Don't drink it. Although Liang Dakue was a little unwilling, he nodded obediently. Okay, Mom. I won't drink it then. Wu Zhenju's son, Liang Xiaofei, took after Wu Zhenju's temperament. He was not sensible. Mom, no, I want to drink it. I want to drink it. Before Wu Zhenju could say anything, Liang Xiaofei expressed his determination. Wu Zhenju's mouth twitched. He was very embarrassed. However, she only had one son, and she loved him dearly. She would usually give Liang Xiaofei whatever he wanted, and this time was no exception. Wu Zhenju said to Liang Jinxiao, Sister, we are guests today. Shouldn't you let the guests eat and drink well first? Chapter 1711. Wu Zhenju's words made sense. Regardless of whether it was in ancient times or modern times, the first thing to do when entertaining a guest was to let the guest eat and drink well. The host had nothing to do with it. Don't do this. Didn't Xiaofei already drink it? Why is he still drinking it? You and your family are the only gluttonous ones in the Liang family. You eat more than the others. Old Madame Liang couldn't stand Wu Zhenju and couldn't help but scold him. Gucaixia followed behind and said, That's right. Mother, you saw it too. Just now, second sister-in-law and Xinyue each drank 2 bowls of mung bean soup. We only drank 1 bowl. There's not much left now. My Dakue didn't even want it. Why must Xiaofei drink it? Wu Zhenju's resentful gaze fell on Gucaixia. Her sister-in-law was deliberately singing a different tune from her. Old Madame Liang nodded and said, Yes, so Xiaofei doesn't need to drink the remaining soup. Xiao, give it to Daodu to drink. With old Madame Liang's words, Liang Jinxiao finally felt relieved. Mother! Wu Zhenju looked at old Madame Liang with some reluctance. Don't say any more. You don't know the rules at all. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at when you go out? You're making it seem as if the Liang family doesn't give you food on a daily basis. Wu Zhenju finally shut up. He glanced at Liang Xiaofei and felt sorry for his son. Liang Jinxiao poured a bowl for Zhao Tianfu and Daodu each. The 2 children held the bowls and were about to drink it. Liang Xiaofei suddenly rushed out from behind Wu Zhenju and went in front of Daodu. He snatched Daodu's bowl. Not only did he snatch Daodu's bowl, but Liang Xiaofei also took advantage of the fact that he was a head taller than Daodu and pushed Daodu to the ground. Daodu fell heavily on the ground, and a layer of his skin was scraped off as he tried to support himself. Liang Jinxiao's heart skipped a beat when he saw this. He rushed over to Daodu and carried Daodu in his arms. How is Daodu? Are you hurt anywhere? Show it to me. Tears welled up in Daodu's eyes. He walked up to Liang Jinxiao with his hands out and said to Liang Jinxiao, Grandma, it hurts. Liang Jinxiao held Daodu's hand and looked at it. Daodu's hand was bleeding from the scratches. Children's hands were very tender. If they accidentally knocked on the ground, they would hurt themselves. Seeing Daodu injured, Liang Jinxiao's heart immediately ached. She looked at Liang Xiaofei with some displeasure. How could this child be so naughty and unreasonable? How could he push someone down so casually? Liang Xiaofei didn't feel that there was anything wrong with what he did. He grabbed the mung bean soup from Daodu's hand and gulped it down in a few mouthfuls. Liang Jinxiao's face darkened. This child's education was too outrageous. Wu Zhenju was not angry. Instead, he felt that Liang Xiaofei had done him a favor. Since he could not get it peacefully, he had to snatch it. Liang Jinxiao comforted Lil Pi with a few words, walked to Liang Xiaofei, and said to Liang Xiaofei, Xiaofei, haven't you already drunk a bowl? How could you snatch Daodu's bowl? You even pushed Daodu down. Look, Daodu was hurt by you. His hand is scratched. Liang Jinxiao's tone was a little harsh. Since he was her nephew, she had to teach him a lesson. If she did not discipline him, he would be even more unreasonable when he grew up. If Zhao Tianfu was like Liang Xiaofei, she would have slapped him. Chapter 1712. Wu Zhenju hurriedly defended his son and said, "Eldest sister, what are you doing? Xiaofei is still young and doesn't know any better. Aren't you afraid that you'll scare him by being so fierce?" Liang Jinxiao's expression did not look good. She took a deep breath and argued with Wu Zhenju, second sister-in-law, "That's not right. Xiaofei may be young, but it's wrong to steal from others. Not to mention he even hurt Daodu. If we don't teach him a lesson now, won't he become a bandit when he grows up?" Liang Jinxiao's words made Wu Zhenju very unhappy. Wu Zhenju rolled up his sleeves and put his hands on his waist. He said fiercely to Liang Jinxiao, "Eldest sister, who are you saying will become a bandit when he grows up? My Xiaofei only took some mung bean soup from your family to drink. Is there a need to say that he will become a bandit when he grows up? What kind of person are you? You treasure a little mung bean soup and can't bear to give it to my Xiaofei. To think that Xiaofei calls you eldest aunt." Liang Jinxiao's mouth twitched and her expression turned even uglier. "Second sister-in-law, I'm not saying that Xiaofei will definitely become a bandit when he grows up. I'm saying that children should be educated well from a young age. Otherwise, who knows what he will become when he grows up if he learns bad things. If he learns how to steal now, won't he become a bandit when he grows up? Second sister-in-law, I know that Xiaofei is your son and that you treasure him and spoil him, but you can't do this." Wu Zhenju snorted coldly and said sarcastically, "Ha, eldest sister, are you teaching me how to educate a child? Your second brother doesn't even care about my Xiaofei. What are you doing here? You're no longer part of the Liang family after marrying out. What right do you have to criticize my Xiaofei? Can't you just teach your child well? I have the final say in how my Xiaofei teaches you." Liang Jinxiao bit her lower lip. It was really tiring to argue with someone as unreasonable as Wu Zhenju. If Liang Xiaofei really followed Wu Zhenju's teachings, this child would definitely be ruined. "Second sister-in-law, I don't care what Xiaofei does, but this child has hurt Daodu. He has to apologize to Daodu." Liang Jinxiao took a deep breath and said with a cold look in his eyes. Liang Xiaofei tugged at Wu Zhenju's sleeve and shook his head. "Mother, I don't want to apologize. Little Fei, just apologize. It's indeed your fault for snatching other people's things." Old Madame Liang couldn't stand it anymore and tried to coax Liang Xiaofei. However, as Liang Xiaofei was Old Madame Liang's precious grandson, Old Madame Liang's attitude wasn't too tough. Instead, she used a negotiating tone. In the end, Liang Jinxiao's family was an outsider to Old Madame Liang. They were not as close as her own grandson. Liang Xiaofei pouted and continued to refuse. "No, I don't want to apologize. It's eldest aunt's fault for being stingy and not giving me mung bean soup." Old Madame Liang sighed and didn't say anything else. Wu Zhenju snorted softly. "Eldest sister, we're guests today, and Xiaofei is just a child. As an adult, why do you have to be so calculative? You're Xiaofei's eldest aunt, aren't you?" Wu Zhenju's words meant that if Liang Jinxiao didn't let Liang Xiaofei off, it would be considered as being calculative with a child. Liang Jinxiao felt uncomfortable, but she didn't want to quarrel anymore. She felt bad for making Daodu suffer like this. So what if he's a child? Can he do whatever he wants just because he's a child? A cold voice came from outside the house. Then, Zhao Yun'er's figure walked into the house. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Daodu's hand, and her gaze became sharper. Chapter 1713. She couldn't care less about what they did to others, but if they hurt Daodu, she wouldn't sit back and do nothing. Liang Jinxiao's gaze fell on Zhao Yun, or when he saw Zhao Yun walk in. He sighed in relief because he knew that Zhao Yun wouldn't let Daodu suffer any losses now that she was back. Wu Zhenju was slightly taken aback and looked at Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun's aura was so oppressive that she couldn't breathe. She couldn't help but feel a chill run down her spine. Wu Zhenju's mouth twitched and revealed an ugly and fake smile. He greeted Zhao Yun, Yun, you're back. Zhao Yun, sneered and ignored Wu Zhenju. She stared coldly at Liang Xiaofei, who was standing behind Wu Zhenju. Such a young child, under Wu Zhenju's nurturing, had become unruly and out of control. Now, he was acting so unreasonable in her house and even bullying Daodu. Wu Zhenju knew that Zhao Yun was angry. He thought that Zhao Yun was going to teach Liang Xiaofei a lesson. He quickly stood in front of Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, Yun, Xiaofei is just a child. Don't be too calculative with him. He was just being naughty for a while. It's not a big deal. Zhao Yun's lips curled into a cold smile. Huh? He's just a child. It's not a big deal. You shouldn't be calculative with a child. Wu Zhenju smiled embarrassedly. Yeah. We adults shouldn't get involved when children are being naughty. It's normal for small fights to happen. Zhao Yun didn't say anything. The smile on her face was too cold. No one could guess what Zhao Yun was thinking. It was because of this that Wu Zhenju felt a sense of danger. Zhao Yun walked in front of Daodu and said to Daodu, Daodu, did you hear what your second aunt said? We adults shouldn't get involved in small fights between children. Do you know if I can help you? Daodu nodded and replied in a soft voice, Mother, Daodu knows. Wu Zhenju sighed in relief. He thought that since Zhao Yun said that, she wouldn't pursue this matter. But in the next second, Wu Zhenju's face. Zhao Yun said softly, Since Mother can't help you, then you have to rely on yourself. We can't be at a disadvantage. How others bully you, you have to bully them back. Have you forgotten all the kung fu your father taught you? Why didn't you use it at a critical moment? Uncle Xiaofei is so old, can't you beat him? After being reminded by Zhao Yun, Daodu's eyes lit up. Mother, Daodu can do it. Zhao Yun patted Daodu's head and said, Since you can, then go. Remember, don't be at a disadvantage. Mother, Daodu knows. Daodu clapped his little hands. His eyes, which were still glistening with tears, suddenly revealed a sharpness that didn't match his age. Wu Zhenju's heart suddenly tightened. His lips trembled as he asked, You're a girl. What are you trying to do? Zhao Yun smiled coldly. I'm not trying to do anything. Since it's a matter between children, I naturally won't get involved. I'm just letting Daodu solve it himself. Second aunt, you said it yourself. It's just children being mischievous. We'll just watch. You won't get involved, right? Chapter 17:14. At the very least, his little Fei was a head taller than Daodu. How much strength could Daodu exert at such a young age? She and Zhao Yun wouldn't get involved, so it would be more beneficial for her. Even so, Wu Zhenju was still quite worried. He saw Daodu's stubborn little face walk up to Liang Xiaofei. Liang Xiaofei was used to thinking highly of himself, so he didn't put Daodu in his eyes at all. He felt that if he didn't teach Daodu a lesson, he would miss the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Liang Xiaofei put the bowl on the table. When he was about to reach out to hit Daodu, he was thrown heavily to the ground by Daodu with a handsome shoulder throw. Ah! Liang Xiaofei screamed in pain. However, this was just the beginning. After Daodu threw Liang Xiaofei to the ground, he punched Liang Xiaofei's chest a few times. Zhao Yun watched coldly from the side. No matter how ruthless Daodu was, it was Liang Xiaofei's own fault. She had to teach Daodu a good lesson. He shouldn't be taken advantage of when he was young, so he shouldn't be too weak when he grew up. After all, Daodu often followed Liang Jinxiao. Zhao Yun was afraid that Daodu would be influenced by Liang Jinxiao. In any era, a person who was too weak would only be bullied. She didn't want to see Daodu like that. Daodu was encouraged by Zhao Yun and became even more ruthless. He directly used Liang Xiaofei as a daily target to train his skills. Thus, everyone watched as a 3-year-old child pressed another child who was a head taller than him to the ground and beat him up merrily. The older child didn't even have the strength to fight back. Wu Zhenju was stunned for a few seconds. After seeing this scene, he was stunned. He hurriedly tried to push Daodu away from Liang Xiaofei, but Zhao Yun blocked him. Second aunt, what are you doing? Zhao Yun asked with a cold smile. Wu Zhenju said angrily, Yun, look at what Daodu has done to my little Fei. Zhao Yuner smirked and asked, "So what? It's just a fight between children. Didn't second aunt say that before? Why are you feeling sorry for little Fei now? Can't bear to see him get beaten up by my Daodu?" Wu Zhenju was so angry that his face turned ashen. He pointed at Zhao Yuner and scolded, "What fight? Are you blind or what? My little Fei's face is bruised and swollen. This isn't light." Zhao Yuner put her hands on her waist and said indifferently, "Second aunt really does feel sorry for her son. However, you are so agitated when your little Fei gets beaten up. My Daodu was pushed to the ground and scraped his hand, but you are so casual about it. You can't say that your son is a treasure while someone else's son is trash, right? You, second aunt, little Fei can't beat my Daodu because little Fei doesn't have the ability. He's so much older than my Daodu, but he was pushed to the ground and beaten up. How embarrassing. Second aunt is an adult, so don't help her. Otherwise, if an adult like you bullies my Daodu, I won't let you off." Zhao Yuner warned coldly. Wu Zhenju was intimidated by Zhao Yuner's sharp gaze. He didn't dare to step forward and could only watch as Liang Xiaofei got beaten up. Hitting Liang Xiaofei's body was more painful than hitting her. "Daodu, why are you being so gentle? Did mother not feed you enough and you don't have any strength now?" Zhao Yuner called out to Daodu. Chapter 17:15. With his mother backing him up, he wasn't afraid of anything. Thinking about what Zhao Yuner had taught him before, Daodu didn't hold back at all when he beat someone up. Today, if he didn't fight for his face, he had to fight for his dignity. He had to beat Liang Xiaofei until he remembered that he wasn't someone who could be easily bullied. Wah wah wah, Liang Xiaofei cried miserably as he was beaten up. Wu Zhenju was so anxious that she stomped her feet. Unfortunately, Zhao Yuner was blocking her, so she couldn't save Liang Xiaofei. She could only watch as Liang Xiaofei was beaten up. Zhao Yuner, that bitch, she was too much. If anything happened to her little Fei, she wouldn't want to live either. Wu Zhenju hurriedly gave Liang Jinhui a look. She couldn't save Liang Xiaofei. As Zhao Yuner's second uncle, Zhao Yuner had to listen to him, right? Liang Xiaofei was Liang Jinhui's son after all. How could Liang Jinhui watch his precious son get beaten up so badly? Thus, he took a step forward and discussed with Zhao Yuner. "Yuner girl, our little Fei was in the wrong this time. I apologize to you. Look, Daodu has been beating him up for so long. Shouldn't he let our little Fei go?" Zhao Yuner's eyes turned cold. She chuckled and said, "Second uncle, your words make it sound like I won't let little Fei go." Then Daodu, "Second uncle, that's a matter between children. If you don't want little Fei to get beaten up, then let little Fei fight back. Don't tell me that little Fei can't beat Daodu even though he's a head taller than Daodu." This, Liang Jinhui was a little frightened by Zhao Yuner's cold eyes. His wife didn't know how powerful Zhao Yuner was. He had been with her for a long time and knew that Zhao Yuner was not to be trifled with. If Zhao Yuner got angry, the situation would be very serious. Wu Zhenju originally hoped that Liang Jinhui would be able to help Liang Xiaofei, but now that he found out that Liang Jinhui was a coward, he didn't dare to say a word. Seeing Liang Xiaofei beaten black and blue, Wu Zhenju couldn't help but wipe the tears from the corners of his eyes and cry with heartache. She had to remember this Zhao Yuner later. She would definitely get her revenge. Old Madame Liang also felt heartache, but just as she was about to say something, she was stopped by Guicaixia. "Mother, you don't have to worry about this matter. It's useless even if second brother says anything. It's indeed little Fei's fault first. We adults shouldn't get involved in children's matters. Otherwise, Yuner will feel uncomfortable, and big sister will also feel uncomfortable." Old Madame Liang sighed and said, Okay then. That's the only way." Old Madame Liang felt sorry for her grandson, but she also knew that this was Zhao Yuner, so she couldn't be too protective. Daodu beat up Liang Xiaofei for a while. When he saw that Liang Xiaofei was beaten up badly by him, he slowly got up from Liang Xiaofei's body. Liang Xiaofei was already on the ground, unable to move, and blood was flowing out of his nostrils. After Daodu beat up Liang Xiaofei, he walked towards Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner squatted down and wiped the sweat off Daodu's forehead. Then she asked with concern, Daodu, how are you feeling? Does your hand hurt? Do you want mother to rub it for you? After Zhao Yuner said this, Wu Zhenju's mouth twitched. He was so angry. It was clearly her little Fei who was in pain, but in the end, it was Daodu who was at a disadvantage. Wu Zhenju looked at Zhao Yuner with resentment. Daodu heaved a sigh of relief and shook his head with a smile. Mother, Daodu doesn't hurt. There's no need to rub it. Chapter 1716. At the same time, Zhao Yuner didn't forget to teach him, Daodu, the next time someone bullies you, crying is useless. You have to use your fists to teach them how to behave. You're a man, so you have to know how to protect yourself. Do you understand? As if, Mother, Daodu will definitely do that in the future. Good boy. Seeing that Daodu was tired, Zhao felt a tinge of sadness in her heart. This child had suffered so much in the past and was bullied by so many people. Fortunately, it wouldn't happen again in the future. With her around, no one would dare to bully the mother and son. Wu Zhenju cried as he rushed to Liang Xiaofei and carried Liang Xiaofei. Liang Xiaofei continued to cry loudly. When he reached Wu Zhenju's arms, he cried even more fiercely. Mother, it hurts. It hurts so much. Wu Zhenju patted Liang Xiaofei's back and said, All right. Xiaofei, don't cry. Mother knows that Xiaofei has been wronged. Mother. Liang Xiaofei realized that when he opened his mouth, a tooth fell out of his mouth. It was still stained with blood. Wu Zhenju was shocked when he saw it. He couldn't help but scold Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner, look at your family's Daodu, isn't he too ruthless? My family's Xiaofei's tooth has been knocked out. So what? If he can't beat others, he can only be beaten. Why don't your family's Xiaofei stop teasing my family's Daodu? Otherwise, he'll have to bear the consequences. Second aunt didn't teach her child well. How can you blame my family's Daodu? Zhao Yuner replied indifferently. She didn't care about Liang Xiaofei's injury at all. Wu Zhenju was so angry that his liver hurt. It's just a child. Why are you so ruthless? It's really bad luck to have such a relative. Xiaofei's father, as a man, you can't even protect your own son. What's the use of you? I think he's just a good-for-nothing. Wu Zhenju vented all his anger on Liang Jinhui. If Liang Jinhui had made a move just now, Liang Xiaofei would not have been injured so badly. Liang Jinhui expressed his helplessness. How could a man like him protect her? Should he make a move on a child or a woman? If he protected her, he would be scolded again. Little Fei's mother, this is our little Fei's fault. It's fine if a child's teeth fall out. They'll grow back in a while. This is a lesson for Xiaofei. He should restrain his temper. It's fine if he's arrogant at home. Our family can spoil him, but no one will let him do as he pleases outside. After listening to Liang Jinhui's words, Wu Zhenju became even angrier. Useless means useless. Why do you have to do all this nonsense? Xiaofei is just unlucky to have a useless father like you. Liang Jinhui was a little embarrassed. This woman was not done yet. Wuxia, who was standing at the side, was gloating. She was very happy to see the second branch suffer. Usually, Liang Xiaofei was very pampered in the Liang family. He often bullied her family's Dekue, but Wu Zhenju was very protective of him. Every time, it was Liang Xiaofei who suffered. Now that she saw Liang Xiaofei being taught a lesson, she finally vented her anger. Evil brats like Liang Xiaofei had to be taught a lesson. Otherwise, they wouldn't know what was good for them. Chapter 1717. Wu Zhenju knew that Wuxia was gloating over Liang Xiaofei's injury. The corner of his mouth twitched violently, and he felt like he was about to vent his anger. Now, he only felt that everyone was bullying him and his mother. Xiaofei, let's go. Wu Zhenju grabbed Liang Xiaofei and walked out of Zhao Yuner's house. What are you doing? Liang Jinhui hurriedly asked. Taking Xiaofei away. I want to go back to my mother's house. Xiaofei is no longer a member of the Liang family. Wu Zhenju said angrily. She was really angry. Her son was beaten up like this, But as a father, Liang Jinhui did not help him. He played down Liang Xiaofei's injury. None of the other members of the Liang family were good people. They all wanted her son to be beaten up. Since no one cared, she might as well take him back to her mother's house. If Liang Xiaofei followed the surname Liang behind the Liang family, it would be too good for the Liang family. Liang Jinhui immediately blocked Wu Zhenju's path and said with a serious face, "What nonsense are you talking about? Don't you feel embarrassed?" Wu Zhenju shouted at the top of his voice, "Embarrassed? How is it embarrassing? You didn't even protect Xiaofei when he was beaten up. Since you don't care, I'll take Xiaofei back to my mother's house. Xiaofei will cut off all contact with the Liang family. He's no longer a descendant of the Liang family." Liang Jinhui was also a little angry. "You woman, you only know how to talk nonsense when you're angry. Xiaofei is my son, which means he's Liang Jin's descendant. What's the point of bringing him back to your mother's house? You even said that you'll cut off all contact with him. Can you really do that? Hee, you still know that Xiaofei is your son? What kind of father doesn't help his son and let his son be beaten so badly? I think you're a black-hearted person. You don't care about Xiaofei at all." The corners of Liang Jinhui's mouth twitched. He felt helpless. He didn't know what to say to such a woman. "Second sister-in-law, we're a family. Why are you making such a fuss? It's just a small quarrel between children, but you're making it sound so serious." Wuxia stepped forward and tried to persuade her, but she only added fuel to the fire. "Small fights? You knocked out my Xiaofei's teeth, and you call that a small fight? The way I see it, they can't wait to beat my Xiaofei to death. My family's Xiaofei has a tough life, otherwise, he would probably be dead by now." Wu Zhenju continued to tug at Liang Xiaofei, as if he was determined to leave. "Why are you making a fuss at such a bad time? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by others? If you want to leave, you can leave. Leave little Fei behind. Little Fei is my son. He follows me and is surnamed Liang. How can he be taken away by you?" Liang Jinhui was also angry and said coldly, "Why should I give you my son? You didn't help him when he was beaten up, and now you have the nerve to fight with me. Why can't I fight with you? Little Fei grew up in the Liang family, and he eats the Liang family's food. If he doesn't follow me, should he follow you?" "All right, Liang Jinhui, you heartless person. I must have been blind to follow you." Wu Zhenju sat on the ground and cried. Zhao Yun saw the scene in front of her and couldn't help but frown. She hated this kind of quarreling scene the most. It made her feel annoyed. Especially Wu Zhenju, who was shouting at the top of his lungs and acting like a shrew. To put it bluntly, wasn't it because she saw it that day? It was all Daoist's fault for being too ruthless and hurting Liang Xiaofei. Chapter 17-18. Zhao Yun's cold voice drifted over. "Are you going to scram or not? If you want to scram, then hurry up and scram. Don't make a fuss in my house and bring bad luck to yourself." Wu Zhenju's resentful eyes fell on Zhao Yun. The instigator of all this was Zhao Yun. This be asterisk he. Wu Zhenju was so angry that he picked up the iron shovel next to him and wanted to swing it at Zhao Yun. He had to fight it out with Zhao Yun today. Zhao Yun narrowed her long and narrow eyes. Just as she was about to dodge, someone kicked Wu Zhenju in front of her and sent him flying. Wu Zhenju fell heavily to the ground and cried out in pain. The iron shovel also fell to the side. Everyone looked up and saw Mu Lianfeng standing in front of Zhao Yun, with a sullen face. Mu Lianfeng asked gently, "Yun, are you all right?" Zhao Yun shook her head and said, "I'm fine. You came just in time. How could anything happen to me?" Mu Lianfeng responded. His deep and cold eyes stared at Wu Zhenju and his gaze suddenly became sharp. Wu Zhenju felt a murderous aura. He looked up at Mu Lianfeng and was intimidated by the aura that Mu Lianfeng was emitting. The Liang family's gaze also fell on Mu Lianfeng. Among these people, except for Liang Jinhui and Liang Jinshun, no one else had seen Mu Lianfeng before. Mu Lianfeng was wearing a purple brocade robe and exuded the aura of a noble. One look at Mu Lianfeng's attire and the noble aura he exuded showed that he was not an ordinary person. When the two unmarried girls from the Liang family saw Mu Lianfeng, they were completely attracted to Mu Lianfeng. In all their lives, they had never seen a man so handsome. It was as if he had walked out of a painting. His eyes were as charming as peach blossoms, his tall nose bridge, his thin lips, and his well-defined face were truly captivating. Liang Xinyue and Liang Xinzi's hearts rippled. They were deeply captivated by Mu Lianfeng. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes today, they wouldn't have believed that there was such a man. He was much better looking than the villagers in the village. Most importantly, Mu Lianfeng was not only handsome, but also had an extraordinary status. His family must be rich. Many women wished to marry such a man. Liang Xinyue and Liang Xinzi were both dazed by Mu Lianfeng. How could they pay attention to Wu Zhenju's trivial matters? You want to make a move on Yun? Mu Lianfeng asked in a cold voice. His gaze seemed to be able to kill Wu Zhenju. Wu Zhenju sat on the ground and trembled for a moment. He stammered, "She was the one who did it first. She beat my son up like this? I was just angry and wanted to return the favor. You can't bully people like this, right?" Mu Lianfeng's brows furrowed. Zhao Yun took a step forward and said to Wu Zhenju, "Second aunt, it was clearly your family's Xiao Fei who bullied my family's Dao Du first." No matter how badly he was beaten, you have to accept your fate. Although Wu Zhenju was afraid, he was still somewhat unconvinced as he replied, "Why? How can you be so unreasonable? My family's Xiao Fei was only scratched by Daodu. Look at Xiao Fei's bruised nose and swollen face. Even his teeth were knocked out by Daodu." Chapter 1719. Wu Zhenju and the rest of the Liang family were stunned by Zhao Yun's words. Daodu was the son of the crown prince? How was that possible? Although Liang Jinhui and Liang Jinshan knew that Mu Lianfeng's identity wasn't ordinary, they didn't know that Mu Lianfeng was the current crown prince. If that was true, then Daodu's identity was incomparably noble. WH. Wu Zhenju asked in disbelief. He thought that he had misheard. How could Daodu be the son of the crown prince? He was clearly a bastard. Zhao Yun, who didn't know who gave birth to him. Bao Yu curled her lips and said sarcastically, "Second aunt, are you deaf at such a young age? Do I need to repeat my words?" Daodu is the crown prince's son? Wu Zhenju muttered. It was already good that Liang Xiaofei was able to keep his life this time. The Zhou country had a rule that the children of nobles couldn't be casually harmed. Otherwise, they would be sued in jail. Daodu is this crown prince's son. I want to ask who dares to harm him? Mu Lianfeng's cold voice sounded. His gaze fell on Wu Zhenju's body and became even more terrifying. "Father!" Daodu ran in front of Mu Lianfeng and hugged Mu Lianfeng's thigh. Mu Lianfeng picked up Daodu and held him in his arms. He rubbed Daodu's body and asked, "Where are you hurt? Let father take a look." Daodu raised his soft little hand and placed it in front of Mu Lianfeng. Then his soft voice sounded in Mu Lianfeng's ear, "Father, it hurts here." Mu Lianfeng glanced at Daodu's little hand. There was indeed a scratch. It was a good thing that it wasn't a big deal. Otherwise, he wouldn't let the person who hurt Daodu have it easy, even if it was just a child. "Are you better now?" Much better. Later, father will help you wipe it with medicinal wine." "Yes, father." Seeing the father-son relationship between Mu Lianfeng and Daodu, the Liang family was stunned. Then, the man in front of them was the current crown prince? They might not believe it if it was someone else, but Mu Lianfeng's attire and the aura he exuded made them believe it. Liang Xinyue and Liang Xinzi looked at Mu Lianfeng with even more dazed eyes. Crown prince? What a noble status. No wonder Mu Lianfeng looked different from the rest. He was different from the villagers. This kind of man with such an extraordinary status really made people fall head over heels for him. Wu Zhenju trembled and panicked. "That crown prince? My family's Xiaofei really didn't do it on purpose. Please don't take it to heart." Mu Lianfeng coldly hooked his lips. "Don't take it to heart? Does this crown prince's son allow you to humiliate him?" Wu Zhenju was so frightened that he quickly pulled Liang Xiaofei to kneel in front of Mu Lianfeng and shouted, "Crown Prince, please be magnanimous and let our family's Xiaofei go. It's all this child's fault. It's all his fault." Liang Jinhui also quickly knelt down to plead, "That's right, Crown Prince. Xiaofei is still a child. Please forgive him. It's our fault for not teaching him well. You can blame us." Mu Lianfeng didn't say anything. He just hugged Daodu and casually asked a few unimportant questions. Wu Zhenju and Liang Xiaofei's foreheads were covered with a layer of sweat. They were afraid that Mu Lianfeng would be unhappy and directly send Liang Xiaofei to prison. Chapter 1720. However, Liang Xiaofei didn't know any better. He broke free from Wu Zhenju's grip and got up from the ground. "Mother, why are you apologizing? Daodu beat me up like this. You have to avenge me," Liang Xiaofei said stubbornly. Wu Zhenju raised his head and reprimanded Liang Xiaofei. "You child, what are you talking about? Hurry up and kneel down." "No, I don't want to." "Mother, you have to avenge me quickly. I want to teach Daodu a lesson and break his teeth. Mother, you love me the most. You have to help me." Liang Xiaofei didn't give up and shouted. Wu Zhenju glanced at Mu Lianfeng. When he saw Mu Lianfeng's sullen face, he hurriedly reprimanded Liang Xiaofei. "You damn child, if you continue to talk nonsense, I'll beat you up." If he didn't scold Liang Xiaofei like this, Liang Xiaofei would really make a scene. When Mu Lianfeng made his move, he would probably lose his life. "Mother, you're a bad person. You won't help me," Liang Xiaofei shouted arrogantly. "Then I'll deal with him myself. I'll definitely beat Daodu to death." Liang Xiaofei revealed a fierceness that didn't match his age. He was already so young. This kind of child would definitely dare to do anything when he grew up. In the end, it was because his parents spoiled him too much. They thought that he was the oldest and couldn't bear to be wronged or suffer. After being bullied, he reacted this way. Wu Zhenju's heart thumped. This damn child, it's over, it's over. If the heir heard this, he definitely wouldn't let her precious son off easily. "Who told you to talk nonsense? Who told you to talk nonsense?" Wu Zhenju was so angry that he got up from the ground and slapped Liang Xiaofei a few times. Liang Xiaofei's mouth was suddenly swollen, and he couldn't speak for a while. 2 more teeth fell out of his mouth after Wu Zhenju slapped him. "Wah wah!" Liang Xiaofei cried even more miserably. As he cried, saliva dripped from his mouth along with blood. It was a ghastly sight. The Liang family did not dare to step forward for fear of offending Mu Lianfeng. In the eyes of the first branch, Liang Xiaofei, this brat, was reaping what he sowed. Usually, it was fine for him to bully others, but this time, he bullied a powerful person, so he would be badly battered. After this lesson, let's see if Liang Xiaofei dares to be so arrogant and willful in the future. Wu Zhenju did not expect that he would be so heavy-handed. He immediately felt his heart ache. After all, Liang Xiaofei was her precious son. Usually, she could not bear to even touch a single strand of his hair. This slap was so heavy that it knocked out 2 more of Liang Xiaofei's teeth. Seeing Liang Xiaofei's swollen mouth, Zhao Yin did not have a trace of sympathy. Liang Jinxiao was a soft-hearted person. After seeing this scene, he stepped forward to mediate. All right, let's forget about this matter." Heir presumptive. Fortunately, Daodu is not too injured, and Xiaofei has also learned his lesson. I don't think he will dare to do it again. Mu Lianfeng gave Liang Jinxiao face and responded, "Since that's the case, let's forget about it as Auntie says." Liang Jinxiao smiled gratefully, then turned to instruct Wu Zhenju and Liang Jinhui, second brother, second sister-in-law. In the future, you should remind Xiaofei not to cause trouble and teach him well. Otherwise, Xiaofei will suffer again like today. Wu Zhenju wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and nodded. Chapter 1721. Wu Zhenju sighed deeply in his heart. He could only let his Xiaofei suffer. It was one thing for this child to bully others on a daily basis, but this time he bullied Daodu every day. For a moment, Zhao Yunre's house fell into silence. There was no more commotion from before. After learning of Mu Lianfeng's identity, everyone was trembling with fear in front of Mu Lianfeng. None of them dared to speak loudly in front of Mu Lianfeng. Moreover, after experiencing this incident, they knew that Mu Lianfeng was definitely in a bad mood. If they said something wrong and angered Mu Lianfeng, they would all suffer. Liang Xiaofei was originally crying and throwing a tantrum, but this child was sometimes very shrewd and knew how to read people's expressions. In this situation, his parents were trembling with fear and did not dare to breathe loudly. If he made a fuss, wouldn't he be courting death? Second sister-in-law, I'll go get some water. Wipe Xiaofei's mouth. Liang Jinxiao said. Liang Xiaofei's mouth was full of blood, and his neck and clothes were stained with blood. He looked very miserable. Liang Jinxiao sighed in his heart, but he did not sympathize with Liang Xiaofei. Wu Zhenju wiped his eyes and responded, "Okay, eldest sister." After a while, Liang Jinxiao brought a basin of water from the kitchen. Wu Zhenju was about to help Liang Xiaofei wipe his mouth when Liang Xinyue moved in front of Wu Zhenju attentively and said to Wu Zhenju, "Mother, let me do it. I'll help Xiaofei wipe his mouth. Look at your face. Hurry and wash your face." Wu Zhenju touched his face. Because of the tears and the sticky snot, he could imagine his current sorry state. Thus, he said to Liang Xinyue, "Okay, you help Xiaofei wipe his face. Mother will wash my face." Mother. Liang Xinyue replied. However, Liang Xinyue's movements were a little awkward. It was as if she was trying to show off and attract attention. Liang Xinyue dipped the towel in the basin and stole a few glances at Mu Lianfeng. Her ears were red. It was obvious that his little wife had seen the appearance of the man she admired. All of Liang Xinyue's actions fell into Zhao Yun'er's eyes. Zhao Yun'er's heart was clear. Could it be that her cousin had taken a fancy to Mu Lianfeng? Zhao Yun'er was not angry. After all, Mu Lianfeng was an outstanding man. Not to mention his status, he was handsome. It was normal for teenage girls to fall in love with him. The more people who liked Mu Lianfeng, the more it proved that Mu Lianfeng was charming. It also showed that her taste in men was good. However, Liang Xinyue could only think about it. Her man could not be coveted by anyone. Otherwise, she would not be easy to provoke. Liang Xinyue was so attentive because she hoped that Mu Lianfeng would notice her and look at her. Maybe Mu Lianfeng would take a fancy to her after seeing her charming appearance. Not to mention being married to Mu Lianfeng as his wife, as long as she could be Mu Lianfeng's concubine, she would be happy. Being with such a handsome man was a very happy thing. Moreover, she could eat and drink well with him and live a rich life. Liang Xinyue's little thoughts were seen through by Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue was usually more reserved and low-key than Liang Xinyue. How could she be as scheming as her? Seeing Liang Xinyue shamelessly trying to attract Mu Lianfeng's attention, Liang Xinyue secretly cursed. Chapter 1722. Normally, Liang Xinzi couldn't stand Liang Xinyue's mouth, and this time, she despised it even more. She silently hoped that Mu Lianfeng wouldn't look at Liang Xinyue, and that he wouldn't be captivated by Liang Xinyue's seductive appearance. What disappointed Liang Xinzi was that Mu Lianfeng did indeed look at Liang Xinyue, and his gaze was somewhat deep. When Liang Xinyue saw that she had attracted Mu Lianfeng's attention, her heart immediately bloomed with joy. She shyly lowered her head, and her movements became even more bashful. However, Liang Xinyue didn't pay attention, and the strength of her hand that was wiping Liang Xiaofei's mouth suddenly increased by quite a bit. Liang Xiaofei screamed. Liang Xinyue was shocked by Liang Xiaofei, and couldn't help but scold Liang Xiaofei. "What are you yelling for? Aren't you afraid of scaring people to death?" Liang Xiaofei glared at Liang Xinyue, and complained unhappily, "Sis, you hurt me, and you don't allow me to scream?" Liang Xinyue rolled her eyes at Liang Xiaofei. "You deserve it. Who told you to cause all this trouble? I was kind enough to help you wipe your mouth, and you didn't know how to endure the pain?" Liang Xiaofei's resentful gaze fell on Liang Xinyue, and he muttered, "Sis, you were distracted by Daoist's father, and that's why my mouth hurt. You still have the nerve to scold me." After Liang Xiaofei finished speaking, Everyone in the room looked at Liang Xinyue. Liang Xinyue immediately blushed. When Liang Xinzi saw this, she couldn't help but cover her mouth and secretly laugh. This Liang Xiaofei's words were too honest, but what he said was the truth. Looking at Liang Xinyue, he felt a little embarrassed. A big girl like her was actually staring at another man like a love-struck fool. Liang Xinyue's face turned even redder. She was a girl after all. She still had some sense of shame. Liang Xinyue used even more force and scolded Liang Xiaofei. Do you still know how to talk, you damned child? It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Liang Xiaofei cried out in pain again. Liang Xinyue snorted. She couldn't wait to teach Liang Xiaofei a lesson. She didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. Liang Xiaofei angrily pushed Liang Xinyue's hand away. When he saw Wu Zhenju come in, he hurriedly rushed to Wu Zhenju and complained to Wu Zhenju, "Mother, don't let sister wipe my mouth. She wiped my mouth until it's rotten. It hurts so much." Wu Zhenju glanced at Liang Xiaofei's mouth and couldn't help but scold Liang Xinyue, don't you know how to wipe Xiaofei's mouth? Can't you be gentler and more careful? Why did you put so much force into it? Look at Xiaofei's mouth, it's even more swollen." Liang Xinyue curled her lips and said, "He deserves it. Who told him to spout nonsense?" Liang Xiaofei was unconvinced and complained, "Sister, when did I spout nonsense? Weren't you staring at other people's men like a love-struck fool?" Guisaixia couldn't help but chuckle. She said to Wu Zhenju faintly, "Second sister-in-law, we all saw this. Xiaofei didn't lie. Was indeed staring at the heir apparent." Wu Zhenju's face darkened. He naturally knew what Guisaixia meant. Wasn't she just saying that her daughter was shameless? How could an unmarried girl stare at other men and even act like a love-struck fool? Liang Xinyue's face also darkened. She glared at Guisaixia. Chapter 1723. Liang Xinzi snorted softly. "That's right. When the time comes, I'll be implicated. People will think that I'm the same as her. I'm not that shameless." Liang Xinyue and Wu Zhenju's expressions became even uglier. Liang Xinyue had a bad temper. She replied unhappily, "Who are you calling shameless? Don't tell me you don't know who I'm talking about. You don't go too far." Liang Xinyue gritted her teeth. Guisaixia hurriedly protected her daughter and reprimanded Liang Xinyue. "Second sister-in-law, look, this child Xinyue. I really don't know what to say. It's fine if she stares at the air, but she doesn't even let others talk about it. Aren't we doing this for her own good? What if the next time she goes out and meets a handsome man staring at her again? Won't she be laughed at to death?" Wu Zhenju lost face, but he couldn't refute Guisaixa's words. He could only reprimand Liang Xinyue. "Did you hear what your eldest aunt said? You're an unmarried girl. Next time, don't lose your composure and let others see you as a joke." Liang Xinyue gritted her teeth. "I know, mother." Zhao Yun watched this farce and felt that it was somewhat interesting. It seemed that every household was not so peaceful. Even her uncle's family, who usually felt that it was good to be together as a family, were secretly competing with each other. No one liked the other. Through this matter, she could extract some information. Zhao Yun restrained the smile at the corner of her mouth. She pulled Mu Lianfeng and had Mu Lianfeng rest in another room. Her man couldn't be coveted by other women. Looking at Mu Lianfeng's departing figure, Liang Xinyue was a bit disappointed. It was good to see such a handsome man for a while. It was pleasing to the eyes. Liang Xinzi was also a bit disappointed. Like Liang Xinyue, she also hoped that Mu Lianfeng would take a look at her. However, she was more self-aware than Liang Xinyue. How could such an arrogant man like him take a fancy to a woman like her? After Mu Lianfeng left, Guisaixia couldn't help but lean in front of Liang Jinxiao and gossip. "Eldest sister, is Daodu really the heir's son?" Liang Jinxiao replied, "Yes, he is." Guisaixia sighed. "That is to say that Yun was not pregnant with a bastard, but the son of the heir." After Guisaixia finished speaking, she realized that she had let the cat out of the bag and hurriedly explained, "Eldest sister, I didn't mean anything else. People were spreading rumors that Yun was pregnant with a bastard. I didn't expect it to be the heir's son. This is too unbelievable. Liang Jinxiao pursed her lips. People misunderstood Yun'er in the past. Fortunately, the heir's son has acknowledged her and cleared Daodu's name. Guocaixia couldn't help but feel envious. If Daodu was the heir's son, wouldn't his eldest sister's family become rich together with him? With the heir's status, wouldn't their family be able to live a good life? She was wondering why his eldest sister's family was living so comfortably. They were building a big house and living here and there. It turned out that they had hooked up with the heir's son. With the heir's son around, how could they not live well? Eldest sister, Yun, is really lucky to have given birth to a son for the heir's son. She has finally earned back all the hardships she suffered in the past few years. Liang Jinxiao nodded in agreement. Yes, Yun did suffer a lot because of the groundless framing. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.